Most people thought he was weak and useless, but what they didn't know was that he possessed a power they all wished they had, and he proved to everyone that they were wrong about him. This story begins in a world where demi-humans are slaves to humans. Our protagonist is a merchant named Banaza, who calmly does business with them. Because of this, humans hate him. Even a demi-human tells him not to do it, but Banaza insists because he wants everyone to get along. Of course, not everyone shares the same wish. Because of this, our protagonist is suddenly summoned to another world. An old man welcomes him and explains that he was summoned to become a hero candidate. He is now in a magical kingdom. Naturally, Banaza does not understand what is happening, so he tells the old man that he is just a merchant. However, the priest ignores this and explains that the hero candidate must help them in their long battle against the Dark Army. That is why they summon potential heroes from other worlds. They have been doing this for a long time, as it is an ancient tradition. Still, Banaza does not understand, because no one has given him a reason to fight the Dark Army. Without further explanation, they decide to examine his abilities using a crystal ball. After being summoned, his level automatically returned to level 1. This is because the gods blessed the candidates, granting them powers that normal people could never obtain, no matter how much they train. They call this the divine revelation. However, when the crystal ball shows Banaza's stats, they are no different from those of an ordinary villager. In other words, there is no divine revelation for him. Hearing this, everyone says it makes sense since he is only a merchant. Banaza then asks them to please send him back to his original world. At that moment, another hero is summoned right beside him, and this one is a success. Even the maid treats him warmly. Before everyone's eyes appears someone with powers worthy of a legendary hero. This man has all his stats at 999, despite being only level 1. As expected, this arrogant man mocks Banaza after seeing his stats, saying that now Banaza understands the real reason why he was summoned, to save this world. Everyone continues praising the new hero, so no one listens to Banaza's request anymore. After that, a ceremony is held to present the best hero candidate. Because they desperately need a hero, even the king thanks him and presents him to the crowd as the new hero. The people cheer loudly. Meanwhile, our protagonist feels very sad, because no one pays attention to him. Worse, he has never even heard of the magical kingdom of Ciro before. He decides to do everything he can to be sent back home. But when he goes to see the king's right-hand man tells him that the gate used to summon him has already closed. Since this is their responsibility, they give Banaza a special permit to live peacefully in a forest, the famous Besa forest, located in the north of the kingdom. However, they also warn him that he is forbidden from talking about this matter. And with that, he waits by the gate for the carriage that will take him away. Our poor protagonist is treated very badly, almost like a slave or a sacrifice. When he tries to talk to the carriage driver, the man reminds him that he was ordered not to speak with him. However, since our protagonist is persistent, he asks if the driver is a slave serving the king. The demi-human does not understand the question, so Banaza explains that in his previous world, humans and demi-humans had a master-slave relationship. This makes the carriage driver laugh. He tells Banaza that he comes from a terrible world and explains that although they are not paid much, they are not slaves to anyone. Proudly, he adds that in this country, it does not matter whether you are human or demi-human. After finally getting an answer, Banaza tries to ask about the forest they are heading to, but the driver refuses to respond and shuts the small door. Banaza becomes thoughtful. Even though they mentioned a dark army attacking cities, he starts to think that this world might not be so bad after all. After 20 long days, they finally arrive. The driver gives him a bag sent by the king. It is a bottomless bag containing money and food to help him survive for a while. However, the demi-human quietly warns him that rumors say the Dark Army is active in this area. Before leaving, he gives Banaza one last piece of advice. If he does not want to die, he should leave this place. After saying that, the demi-human departs. Banaza politely thanks him, even though he admits that he has no idea where else he could go. He then checks the contents of the bag and notices that it works just like the one from his old world. Of all the items inside, the only thing useful right now is the sword. Although it does not look bad, he can tell it is cheap. Suddenly, 3 slimes attack him. He easily defeats them with a few sword swings, but just as he suspected, the sword breaks despite fighting such weak creatures. At that moment, the system notifies him that he has reached level 2, and all his stats have become infinite. He does not recognize this symbol, so the system informs him that he can activate a voice guide. Wanting someone to talk to, he agrees. He is then notified that he has acquired new spells that can be used without opening menus. All of them appear at once. In addition, the system tells him that 3 spells were added to his bottomless bag: location tracking, monster attraction, and forced recovery. Because he was carrying this bag, the slimes attacked him. Combined with the cheap sword, he realizes that the king wanted him to die. The system kindly asks if he wants to remove those spells from the bag. He immediately agrees, and the change happens instantly. Banaza is surprised by how easily the spells are removed. Wanting to forget about the bag issue, he decides to look for a safe place to rest and sleep. However, the system warns him that the forest is extremely dangerous. Not only are there monsters, but it also has a high concentration of malice. This refers to liquid or gaseous substances released by demons. Then the system asks him something surprising. Does he want to purify all the malice in the forest? Not understanding much, he says yes. Before activation, he is warned that the spell will consume 1/3 of his magic. The spell activates, creating a massive magic circle. Just by doing this, he levels up many times. Since the voice guide is active, he clearly hears the constant level up notifications. Meanwhile, back in the kingdom, the crown princess scolds her father for being so cruel to the candidate who could not return to his world. She points out that he was sent to the same place where the Dark Army has its base. The king coldly responds that such a useless human could never be their hero. At that moment, an old mage approaches and reports that someone has just used purification magic. At first, the king assumes it was the hero he chose, but the mage explains that it actually happened in the north, specifically in the forest. The same forest where Banaza is. Soon, Banaza sees on his system that he is now level 367. He has no idea why he gained so many levels, so he assumes that in this world, using magic alone raises levels. Feeling confused, he turns off the level up notifications. When he checks his remaining magic, the system shows that it is already fully recovered. He concludes that his magic capacity is not small at all. He also remembers that he is forbidden from living in the city. Fortunately, the system recommends using transformation magic. When he activates it, he turns into a beautiful waifu, and after a few seconds he regrets it, thinking that from now on he will have to live in that body. However, just by imagining another form, he changes again, this time into a more mature adult male. He likes this form much better since it allows him to enter and leave the city freely. Because the system is extremely intelligent, it recommends using teleportation magic to reach the royal capital instantly. Banaza agrees without hesitation and appears in the city at once. Becoming more serious, he then tries to use the same magic to return to his original world, but it fails completely. Deep inside, he already knew it would not work, but he still had hope. Knowing that he must earn money to survive in this world, he wonders if guilds exist here. While walking around the city, he realizes that registering with the Merchant Guild would be difficult, since he knows no one. His best option is the Adventurers Guild, where he can hunt monsters and survive. As expected, his system tells him exactly where the Adventurers Guild is, like a talking version of Google. It also explains the ranks, which range from E to S. The higher the rank, the better the rewards and the more difficult missions one can accept. When he reaches the counter, the receptionist explains that members can also receive reserve funds and compensation, just like in his previous world. When asked what name he wants to register under, he almost says his real name, but instead chooses Julio, the name of a dog he once had. Just like that, he is registered and receives a medallion engraved with his information. Without wasting time, he looks for work, wanting to earn money quickly. He lacks confidence, believing his level is very low. Then he hears a small girl asking for help to be escorted to the base of forest. Since everyone knows the Dark Army has a base there, the adventurers refuse her request, saying they would not go there for all the money in the world. However, the girl insists, explaining that her family lives near the forest and she wants to help them. The adventurers push her aside and leave. Seeing this, our good-hearted protagonist approaches and offers to take her using teleportation. Upon hearing that word, all the adventurers are shocked that someone so young can use such magic. To him, it is not a big deal since it barely consumes his mana. Suddenly, a blonde female knight with a sword tells him to stop and warns him to stay away from the girl, saying she does not believe he can use such an advanced spell. Other women also step in to protect the girl, suspecting that he might want to enslave, kidnap, or traffic the demi-human. Together, they intimidate him and demand to know his true intentions. Not wanting to draw attention inside the castle, he suggests that they come with him instead. They agree and take him to a nearby alley, warning him that they will act if he does anything suspicious. Calmly, he uses teleportation. When they arrive, everyone confirms that they are indeed in the forest mentioned earlier. The small mage asks if he is a high-level great sorcerer, but Banaza humbly replies that he is just a rookie adventurer who knows a bit of magic. Impressed by his humility, the blonde knight and the others apologize for their rude behavior. However, the little girl finds everything strange. She was sure the forest was covered in a thick layer of malice. Just as Banaza is about to explain why the malice is gone, his system interrupts him, warning him not to reveal that he used purification magic to a demon. At the same time, all the women realize that the girl is actually a demon. Even the lowly mage prepares to attack, and the blonde knight demands that the girl reveal her true identity. Confused, Banaza asks what is going on, and they explain that the guild had warned them about a suspicious girl asking for help to travel to the base of forest, where the Dark Army is located. A sinister smile appears on the girl's face as she mocks the knight and reveals her true form. She introduces herself as Henry, the sister of Fungari, one of the 4 infernal lords. She declares that she will devour them, not out of cruelty, but because her brother ordered her to watch the enemy and find food. As she releases an overwhelming amount of malice, everyone nearly collapses. Even the blonde knight admits she expected only a low-ranking demon, not one so close to the 4 infernal lords. All of this barely affects Banaza, which Henry finds very curious. She decides that he will be her last meal. When she tries to attack the blonde knight, Banaza saves her and immediately teleports all the girls to a safe place. Still wondering why he was chosen, he knows one thing for sure. He refuses to die without fighting back. And with firm resolve, he prepares to launch his attack. He uses all the spells he has, starting by testing Meteoric Leap, easily dodging the wolf's attack. She tries to strike again, so Banaza uses earth magic to block the powerful tail strike of the huge wolf. To counterattack, he casts a tornado, but the wolf escapes using short-range teleportation. Now our protagonist shows his overwhelming side, pinning her to the ground with gravity magic. This completely catches the wolf by surprise. Seeing that she cannot move, Banaza thinks about taking advantage of the situation and looks for a spell to restrain her, wondering what he should use next. The system then recommends the enslavement spell, which can control the target's thoughts and actions. At that moment, traumatic memories from Banaza's previous world flood his mind. Memories of slaves being whipped. Because of this, he refuses to use the spell and asks the system for another option. However, the system keeps recommending enslavement. Even as the wolf tries to escape using magic, the system suppresses her and continues pushing him to use the spell. Angry and clenching his teeth, Banaza once again refuses. By this point, the wolf has run out of magic and collapses. She surrenders and asks him to kill her, explaining that warriors of her race who can no longer fight have no right to live. "Kill me," she says. Banaza replies that he does not want to do that, since he does not even like fighting. He then deactivates the gravity spell. The wolf tells him that she is a demon and that demons are currently in constant war with humans, criticizing him for sparing her life. Banaza responds that he does not care whether she is human or demon, he simply refuses to kill someone who has already surrendered. Hearing this, she calms down and calls him very innocent. She then returns to her humanoid form, and it is obvious that she is naked. Embarrassed, Banaza quickly rushes over and covers her with his cloak, telling her that if she promises not to fight humans again, he will not harm her. He then remembers that he has clothes in his bottomless bag, but as he goes to get them, he hears her body fall. Having completely run out of magic, she faints. As evening comes, Banaza checks his system and notices many types of magic he had never seen before. He also wonders why his magic is so powerful, especially since very few people in this world can use teleportation. Inside the tent, the wolf wakes up. Seeing Banaza's sword, she remembers how powerless she was against him. Although she once believed humans were a very weak race, that belief has now changed. She also realizes that her magic has fully recovered thanks to him. She steps out of the tent and asks Banaza if he used healing magic on her while she was unconscious. He confirms it. She then tells him that any other human would have killed her and skinned her to sell her body. Stepping closer, she promises never to fight humans again and says that because of his immeasurable power, she will treat him as her master and devote her life to repaying this debt. Banaza becomes very nervous and politely asks her not to say those things, but she stubbornly insists. She says she will carry his belongings, become his slave, and do anything he asks. Unlike other adventurers, Banaza is not someone who takes advantage of others, so he tells her that she does not need to carry anything and does not need to be his slave either. She then uses her secret weapon, making puppy eyes while crying. However, our strong-willed protagonist makes it clear that even that will not change his mind. In desperation, she even threatens to kill herself. Because of this, the kind and innocent Banaza finally agrees to let her accompany him. This makes her extremely happy. They spend the night talking, even sharing very personal stories. Banaza tells her that he is not actually from this world. Although he was summoned as a hero candidate, he was judged unfit after being evaluated and was exiled to the forest. He also cannot return to his original world. He then reveals that he can change his appearance and shows her his original form, explaining that he did it out of fear that people from the castle would hunt him down. In this new world, he does not know what to do or where to go, and if she decides to stay with him, their life will be very hard. She interrupts him and explains that wolves have a rule. It does not matter who their master is or where they come from. Once they acknowledge someone is their master, they live for them. She swears loyalty to him and promises to stay by his side for the rest of her life. She then hugs him tightly. Meanwhile, back at the king's castle, an audience is taking place, and the hero is present. He complains that the soldiers sent with him were too weak, calling them cowards who broke formation when they saw a single magical beast. He claims he did everything he could to save them and says they should be grateful that he even brought some soldiers back alive. After saying this, he leaves. A soldier standing beside the king then tells him the truth. The so-called hero stayed far in the rear instead of the front lines. When the magical beasts appeared and began killing soldiers, he immediately fled to save himself, blaming the soldiers as he ran. This deeply disappoints the king, who had placed the hero on a pedestal. The hero later reflects that no matter how much he trains, his abilities do not improve. While he can easily defeat humans or weak magical beasts, he has no chance against strong ones. At that moment, one of his servants arrives, whose job is to wait for his return. The blonde hero asks her to accompany him so they can go spend the money provided by the castle. We then return to Banaza, who is walking through the city with his waifu. He plans to go to the Adventurers Guild to find work and also look for a place to sleep. She replies, "Yes, my master," but since he is not used to that, he asks her not to call him that. A vegetable seller then calls Fenrris Mom. Banaza explains that the man probably thinks they are married, and personally, he believes that might be for the best, since it would make traveling easier without drawing suspicion. Fenrris excitedly agrees, saying she will be his wife and explaining that for a wolf, there is no greater honor than having a strong husband. Her face clearly shows how happy and hopeful she is. Instead of calling him master, she starts calling him dear, which surprises him. She even grabs his arm. After this very romantic moment, they finally arrive at the guild. Fenrris finds the tools used to store information strange, but Banaza tells her that he also uses them, which excites her because they will be using the same object. She then explains that her race has a very unusual marriage ritual. Couples eat the bones of the same prey as a symbol of shared ownership. Naturally, Banaza does not want to eat raw bones, but she is clearly very excited about it. At that moment, the receptionist asks Fenrris for the name she wishes to register under. As usual, she confidently tries to say her real name, but Banaza interrupts her and tells her to simply use the name Reese. She immediately apologizes. Banaza explains that even if no one recognizes her, it is better to stay low-key and get used to living like a human. They are suddenly interrupted by ringing bells. The guild announces an urgent request. A large group of psycho bears is moving from the north toward the area. All the adventurers become uneasy, since rumors say that even the hero's army was destroyed by them. The announcer then adds that this time, the reward for each bear killed will be multiplied by 10. Although the reward sounds tempting, Banaza thinks it is too dangerous, and that they should not get involved. Riss, however, assures him that he could easily handle them. Banaza lacks confidence, so she promises to defeat them all by herself, saying that if she can do that, it will prove how strong he is. After all, he already defeated her once. Using teleportation, they quickly arrive at the location where the psycho bears were last seen. They find an empty house that the guild allowed them to use as a base. Although Riss says she can handle everything alone, Banaza wants to help and also test some spells. She happily tells him that together they could even defeat the Dark Lord. She is excited because once the monsters are defeated, they can claim the reward. Suddenly, they hear desperate screams. A group of girls is being surrounded by psycho bears. Fenrris sees that the girls are badly injured and initially thinks it would be better to ignore them. However, Banaza notices that one of the girls is about to be killed, so he fires a lightning spell and defeats the monsters all at once. Just then, another bear jumps out from the bushes and attacks them by surprise, but Fenrris instantly knocks it out with a kick, commenting that her partner is too kind. The blonde knight recognizes Banaza and thanks him again for saving her. She tells him that they were all worried because he stayed behind after teleporting them away. She admits that they knew he would survive easily, even against such monsters. She then asks who the girl with him is. Banaza innocently replies that she is just his traveling companion, Rhys. This makes Fenrris sad, as she would have preferred to be introduced as his wife. At that moment, another psycho bear appears behind Rhys and tries to attack her. When she turns around, the monster freezes in fear, realizing it cannot defeat her. Rhys easily subdues it, turning a psycho bear, one that wiped out the hero's army, into her pet. She proudly says that controlling such a monster will look great on her list of achievements. Banaza does not want the monster to hurt anyone else, so he casts a restraint spell. Seeing that the girls are still traumatized, he decides to change the monster's form, turning it into a cute horned rabbit. They name it Civ. The girls cannot believe what they are seeing. Not only were all the psycho bears defeated in one blow, but one was also tamed. They enter the house to introduce themselves. The purple-haired girl is Villano, a mage who specializes in defensive magic. The red-haired girl is Villery, who used to take care of horses for the army and later became a knight. The muscular girl is Blossom, a heavy fighter who worked on her family's farm. Finally, the blonde knight is Valier Rosa, a knight of coup. They then ask Banaza for a favor. They want him to become their leader in battle. They explain that the psycho bears destroyed the hero's forces, and since then the hero has locked himself in his room. The king ordered them to train until they could kill a psycho bear, but they admit that even all four of them together cannot defeat one. Banaza says he is not even sure how his magic works. Rhys becomes irritated, calling them shameless for asking favors again and again. To calm her down, Banaza tells the girls that Rhys is actually his wife. Rhys loves hearing this, and the girls immediately say they do not want to get in the way. However, Rhys changes her mind and encourages her husband to lead them, saying that as his wife she knows better than anyone that he is the strongest, and also too kind to abandon people in trouble. Banaza honestly tells the girls that he does not think he can teach them properly, but if they still want his help, he will accept. All four eagerly agree. They then ask one more favor. Since camping outside is dangerous, they ask to stay in the house, even if it is just a small corner. Rhys agrees, noting that there are plenty of rooms. After all, they are husband and wife and can share the same bed. Meanwhile, in the Dark Lord's castle, a cat-like beast woman reports that the unit led by Fungari in the Bessa forest was completely annihilated by a single man who used purification magic. Shocked that someone could wipe out so many demons alone, the Dark Lord orders them to find and capture this man at all costs. The next day begins with a beautiful sunrise. Our guy is awakened by his furry friend, and in shock, he asks what she is doing there. Calm and confident, she tells him that they are married and that this kind of thing is normal. Only then does he remember what happened the night before. She had been offering herself to him, but since he had just met her, he immediately refused. He explained that for him, those things have an order and a process, and more importantly, he needs to be mentally prepared. Hearing this, she becomes completely disappointed, realizing that human relationships are very complicated. On that point, she is not wrong. Banaza then suggests that he should sleep in the hallway instead, but she warns him that if the other girls see that, they will suspect their relationship. Because of this, he ends up sleeping in the same room as the fur girl. Without any warning, she approaches him to take off his clothes, saying he needs to change. At first, he clearly does not want to, but eventually gives in. Just then, Valier Rosa suddenly opens the door without knocking. The blonde is completely shocked by what she sees. Later, when training begins, Valier Rosa foolishly introduces herself in full detail, her name, hometown, and entire background, right in front of the monster. The monster does not care at all and immediately tries to attack her. As she runs away, she complains that the monster is a coward for not even letting her finish her introduction. Blossom tries to help, but her attack fails, putting her in danger as well. Fenrris tells the mage to use defensive magic, and she manages to save Blossom. At the same time, Banaza orders Villery to use her bow, but the arrows do nothing to the monster. The mage is already exhausted after just one spell, leaving her defenseless and forced to run. Watching all this, Banaza realizes that training them will be a huge challenge. Even so, he gives them runes to rest. The blonde asks if they can really use the runes, and Banaza explains that they already claimed the reward for killing the psycho bears. With that money, he bought the house. Since their training will take a long time, they cannot just sleep on the floor. Hearing this, Valier Rosa and the lowly mage thank him. Fenrris announces that dinner is ready. However, since she is a demon, she serves everyone fresh raw boar meat that she recently hunted. The 4 girls did not kill it. Fenrris did. She proudly says she cut large portions for everyone to celebrate the new house. Banaza asks her to please cook the meat, but seeing her lack of cooking skills, he decides to do it himself. Valier Rosa offers to help him. Meanwhile, little Civ happily eats the raw meat, which makes sense since it is originally a monster. Fenrris wonders why no one else likes raw meat. After a while, Banaza and Valier Rosa bring out the properly cooked food. The girls praise it, but Banaza gives most of the credit to Valier Rosa, saying her cooking surprised him. She blushes and admits that cooking is easier for her than fighting with a sword. She explains that although her family had a noble surname, they were poor and could not afford cooks, so they always prepared their own meals. Everyone enjoys the delicious food except Riss, who is skeptical. In her mind, she believes vegetables are only for weak beasts that cannot hunt meat. Seeing her not eating, Banaza approaches her and explains that it is nutritious and that he personally made the salad. Blossom even jokes that if Riss does not eat it, she will. To avoid embarrassment, Riss eats it in one bite and realizes it is delicious, just like the meat. Still in denial, she says that applying heat to meat should not make it taste better. Banaza then reveals that Valier Rosa cooked the meat. This makes Riss feel threatened. She cannot allow the blonde to surpass her in cooking. She declares that next time she will cook instead. After that, they head to the guild as usual to sell the boar meat, causing other adventurers to wonder how they manage such success. Envy toward Banaza is clearly visible. At that moment, Riss asks for permission to go out, saying she has some personal matters to take care of. Banaza wants to go with her, but she refuses. Just then, they are interrupted by a demi-human who works at the Adventurers Guild. He says he wants to talk to Banaza. The two separate, and it turns out that Riss is actually going to take cooking lesson, taught by none other than the supreme mage of cooking, the famous Madame Shibaba. Meanwhile, the demi-human speaks with Banaza and praises his achievements, which are now well known throughout the city. Because of this, the Adventurers Guild received an invitation. The king wants to recognize Banaza as an honorary knight, as long as he puts all his power at the hero's disposal. After hearing this, Banaza does not even hesitate. After being summoned as a hero candidate and then discarded, he has no reason to fight demons for them. He calmly rejects the offer. When he leaves, he finds Riss completely burned and covered in soot. It turns out that during her cooking class, everything went wrong, from adding salt, peeling tomatoes, to simply lighting the stove. She even used magic which caused everything to explode. As a result, she now sees human cooking as a very formidable enemy. Meanwhile, at the royal castle, the hero is informed that there is a very strong person at the guild who, together with a female adventurer, has killed many magical beasts. Hearing this, the arrogant hero demands that they bring this person to him immediately, saying he will make him his right-hand man. Soldiers are sent, and over the next month, they visit Banaza week after week. Each time, Banaza politely refuses. Riss, however, becomes very angry and asks her husband if she should threaten them so they never return. Banaza tells her not to, explaining that the soldiers are just doing their job. Instead, he decides to watch the girls train. Blossom is plowing the land, and Banaza praises her because the garden has come back to life thanks to her. Smiling, she says she cannot live there for free and mentions that Civ has also been helping. Meanwhile, Riss trains the archer, explaining that shooting at a motionless target is not proper combat training. She tells her to instead hunt a three-eyed green chicken, but the archer refuses because it looks cute. Later, Banaza gives the mage a magical ring that increases her mana capacity. At first, the lowly mage puts it on her middle finger, but then tries to move it to her ring finger. The atmosphere suddenly turns dark. Riss immediately threatens her, saying not to even think about wearing it on that finger, since that symbolizes marriage. The poor mage freezes in fear. At the same time, the blonde knight puts on a damsel in distress act, even though the monster she is fighting is very weak. Clearly, she is just trying to get Banaza's attention. Riss steps in and helps, calling out Valer Rosa for pretending to be innocent. Although the blonde denies it, Riss says she is very clever and only acts weak to attract her husband and get alone time with him. Just then, Riss notices a demon cat girl nearby. Later, everyone gathers at the table. Since a month has passed, Riss has learned how to cook. Today's meal is omurish, and even Banaza praises how delicious it is. Curious, he asks when she learned to cook, Riss finally reveals that every time she went with him to the guild and said she had personal business, she was actually attending cooking classes. At first, she found it annoying and wished she could just use magic, but it did not work. Through effort and dedication, she learned to cook human food for him. She also says she prepared something very special for her husband, taught by her master, curry. When Banaza tastes it, he finds it extremely delicious. Outside, the demon cat girl watches them hungrily. She recognizes Fenrris as the bravest warrior of the Dark Army, which makes it strange to see her now surrounded by humans. Every time she speaks, she ends her sentences with meow. Suddenly, Riss appears behind her and asks what she is doing there. The demon cat girl's name is Ulim. Riss invites her in for tea, very hot tea, clearly doubting that her former companion came just for a visit. Ulim claims she came by coincidence and found her. Fenrris then says she now lives here with her husband, which completely shocks Ulim. She burns herself again on the hot tea. While watching them talk, Ulim uses her evaluation skill on Banaza. To her surprise, she cannot read his level at all, even though she can read the Dark Lord's level. She then mentions that there are no longer any magical beasts in the Besa forest and assumes it is because Banaza purified the entire area. This news makes her spit out her tea. She quickly whispers to Fenrris that Banaza is the one who annihilated her brother Fengari and all his forces, since she has heard nothing from him since he entered the forest. Riss covers her mouth. She already sensed it. She knows that her brother would hate seeing her cry over his death. Even though he was one of the four infernals, she understands that his fate was the result of his own choices for being so incompetent. As for Banaza, she decided to marry him because his power completely captivated her, and nothing will ever change what she feels for him now. At that moment, a small noise is heard. It turns out the four girls are huge gossipers. They were spying and heard everything. Ulim begins to think things through. If this man is a threat to the Dark Army, and Fenrris is now his wife, then logically both of them are enemies of the Dark Army. Because of this, she proposes a test battle with Banaza. She wants to personally witness the talent that made Fenrris fall in love with him. Deep down, the demon plans to kill him the moment she gets the chance. Of course, his wife immediately steps in to protect him, and warns that the demon is just using this as an excuse to kill him. However, Banaza confidently tells her not to worry. After all, he believes he is the strongest. Once they go outside and the battle begins, Ulim uses 2 spells, Poisoned Cat Claws and a trap spell beneath his feet. Both are completely useless. Banaza frees himself using forced release magic, and with just a snap of his fingers, he cancels both spells. He then uses Crucifixion on her and clearly declares that he is her opponent. He also warns her not to attack Riss again, since he noticed that her first spell contained poison and was aimed in Riss's direction. After this, Ulam finally surrenders. Banaza then apologizes to the girls for not telling them the truth earlier. Valer, Rosa, and the other 3 reassure him, telling him to relax. They promise not to tell anyone and say they are not ungrateful to someone who has helped them so much. They also point out that Fenrris is no longer their enemy. It is obvious that she no longer belongs to the Dark Army. Just then, the demon cat girl returns again, this time bringing 12 dragons. These are elite monsters of the Dark Army, the very best of the best. Even the blonde knight remembers how these dragons have wiped out entire human armies in the past. Banaza, however, does not care at all. In fact, he is excited to see a dragon for the first time. In his previous world, dragons existed in stories, but he never got to see or touch one. Desperate, Ulim orders the dragons to attack. Launching massive fireballs, Banaza refuses to allow it. Using sacred-level magic, he casts Celestial Hammer, electrocuting all the dragons at once and turning them into fried dragons, slightly burnt but defeated. Without wasting time, Ulim retreats like a coward, along with a few dragons that manage to escape. Blossom then comments that she should have thrown a weapon, since she might have earned a title that way. This actually makes a lot of sense. Banaza helps her and tells her to throw the weapon. When she does, he adds enhancement, acceleration, piercing, and sanctification magic, instantly killing a dragon. Since Blossom was the one who threw the weapon, she earns the title Dragon Slayer. The others immediately want titles too, and beg Banaza to help them. He kindly explains that the dragons have already fled. The blonde realizes this and gives up peacefully, breaking into tears instead. All of this is observed by the Dark Lord, who is shocked that an adventurer, someone who is not even a hero, can use magic of such a high level. Standing before his subordinates, he declares that it is time to take the next step. And with that, we return to our protagonist starts setting up a barrier around his house, mainly to detect if any demons try to enter. Riss tells him that if that annoying cat demon comes back again, she will personally deal with her. Just imagining it makes her a little angry. What surprises her the most is that Banaza is still kind to that demon, even after she attacked them. Banaza explains that it is not because he is kind, but because he feels responsible for destroying Fenrris' forces, which is why he understands the demon cat. However, he keeps these thoughts to himself and does not tell Fenrris, instead quietly staring at the power in his own hand. Nearby, Blossom still cannot believe that she now has the Dragon Slayer title. The lowly mage tells her that it was the legendary weapon that cut off the dragon's head, not Blossom herself, which embarrasses her. Meanwhile, Valir Rosa leaves, saying she is going to hunt today's magical beasts. Titles do not matter to her. The other three mention how disciplined the blonde knight is. Blossom then says she earned the Dragon Slayer title thanks to Banaza, so she decides to train harder and defeat monsters of that level herself. Elsewhere, Valir Rosa is crying. She also wanted that title, since it is the dream of every adventurer. She feels left behind and admits that with that title, she might have been able to restore her family's lost nobility and perhaps allow them to return to the capital like in the old days when her father was still a knight. Her thoughts are interrupted by a man who says he came because someone he knows lives here. He asks if she is familiar with the area, since it is his first time there. Valir Rosa notices that his equipment is far too light for a forest full of dangerous beasts, which makes him suspicious. She asks if he is referring to Banaza or Banaza's wife. When the man says it is the wife, Valir Rosa immediately realizes he belongs to the Dark Army. She raises her sword and confidently asks what he wants with a woman who has nothing to do with them anymore. The man admits that he is from the Dark Army and says he only came to check on her and has no intention of doing anything harmful. Seeing that Valir Rosa does not lower her sword, he decides to leave. Before going, he asks her to pass a message to the woman, saying that he would like to come again to have tea and talk about the past. He introduces himself as Gosal. When Valir Rosa asks his identity, he only gives that name, which is not his real one since he is actually the Dark Lord, named Gol. A few minutes later, Banaza and Fenrris arrive and ask Valir Rosa if she is okay or injured. The barrier had already identified that the person she was talking to was the real Dark Lord. Hearing this, Valir Rosa is shocked and asks if they are joking. Banaza firmly says he would never joke about something like that. She becomes deeply traumatized, knowing that if she meets him again, he could kill her. The next day, the Dark Lord appears in front of Fenrris again, this time using a different appearance. Banaza also greets him politely, pretending not to know that he is the Dark Lord. He invites him inside with complete calmness, which surprises the Demon King. He wonders how this man can remain so relaxed in his presence. At that moment, Valir Rosa comes out of her room, saying she is going to hang her clothes to dry. Unfortunately, she runs into the same man she previously pointed her sword at. He simply smiles, causing her to drop her clothes in shock. Banaza invites her to join them at the table, seating her next to the man. The Demon King mentions that they have taken in one of his subordinates. Riss calmly asks if he came for revenge. Valir Rosa, however, is terrified and can barely stand. Then, to everyone's surprise, the Demon King asks Banaza if he wants to join the Dark Army, basically offering him a job. Banaza immediately refuses. Hearing this, Gol assumes that the Human King likely wants Banaza's power as well, and asks why he is living here in hiding instead of serving someone. Banaza replies that it makes no sense to choose a side. He He is not from this world and does not even know why humans and demons are at war. Taking this opportunity, the Demon King explains the reason. The war began 500 years ago, when the first Dark Lord came from another world to rule this one. At that time, demons were oppressed by humans. Tired of that life, they followed the first Dark Lord, which led to the first Great War between those who followed a foreign hero leader and the humans who rejected him. He adds that the longer a war lasts, the more hatred builds up, and after so many years, this rivalry is no longer easy to stop. After hearing all this, Banaza asks if the Dark Lord actually wants to end the war. The old man answers him. As the current Dark Lord, he has no interest in ruling this world. However, as the Demon King, he cannot allow a threat to the demons to fall into the cruel hands of humans. Because of that, he advises Banaza to accept his offer and join him. Banaza replies that the Demon King overestimates him, and he reminds him once again that he has no intention of siding with anyone. Hearing this, the Demon King stops releasing his overwhelming power, calls Banaza stubborn, and laughs. Still, he says he will not give up and will return another day. In his mind, he is surprised that a woman could remain so calm beside Banaza despite all the power he released. Because of this, Valierosa seems like a very interesting woman to him. With that, he simply leaves. It turns out that the blonde was calm only because she had already fainted. Her friends try to wake her, and later let her rest. The next day, the Demon King visits again. This time, Valierosa runs into him while wearing pajamas. Fenrris tells the Dark Lord to leave once he finishes eating, firmly stating that her husband will never change his mind. She also scolds him, saying it is rude to stay for a meal when you are just a visitor. The Demon King ignores her words and calls Valierosa over. She replies that she is not properly dressed and quickly leaves. The old man foolishly thinks she is just modest, when in reality, she is terrified of him. Over time, he keeps running into her, and she always avoids him with excuses like collecting firewood or washing clothes. Meanwhile, a soldier informs the Human King that a demon has been frequently visiting the adventurer's house, and that the same visitor has also been seen entering demon territory. This news enrages the king. He believes Banaza is secretly allying with the Dark Army, and considers sending soldiers to attack him. The princess stops him, warning that sending soldiers to harass Banaza will only push him closer to the demons. She says it would be better to talk to him and hear what he has to say. Enraged, the king silences his daughter, shouting that with such ideals, she will never be fit to rule a nation. At that moment, the so-called hero, better described as a coward, interrupts them and declares that if Banaza does not obey, he will force him to. We then shift scenes to the Dark Lord speaking with the demon cat girl, informing her that he plans to visit Banaza again. She warns him that Banaza is extremely dangerous, but the Dark Lord replies that Banaza is far more reasonable than a certain king who refuses to listen. If he can bring Banaza to his side, it would be best for demonkind. The cat demon understands and says she will await his orders. The Dark Lord mentions he is waiting for the perfect opportunity to reposition all his troops before leaving. The cat demon reflects that some demons criticize Lord Goal for visiting Banaza so often, but she knows he is trying to win him over. Still, she secretly wonders if that is truly his only intention, since even she no longer fully trusts her lord. We return to Banaza, who is thinking about selling equipment made from dragon scales. His first prototype is a shield. He tells Riss that he plans to keep improving it until it becomes something truly worth buying. He wants to build a successful business so they can live off it. Thinking like a true visionary, Riss asks if he thinks rejecting the job offer related to the hero was really the right decision, since it would have brought greater rewards and allowed him to fully use his abilities. She also admits that she briefly wondered if he avoided fighting the Dark Army because of her. Banaza reassures her that this is not the case. Now that he knows how powerful he is, he prefers to avoid unnecessary battles. Hearing this, Riss says that this is the mindset of a truly good person, and that it is one of the reasons she admires him so much. Suddenly, the red-haired girl alerts them that someone is waiting outside. It turns out to be none other than the hero himself, the most cowardly character in the entire story. He tells Banaza that he has only two choices. The first is to become his subordinate and help defeat the Dark Lord. If he refuses, the hero will accuse him of being a spy for the demon army and kill him on the spot. The hero believes his threat has terrified Banaza into silence and assumes that this will finally make him submit, allowing him to become a legendary hero. However, Banaza calmly rejects both options. The cowardly hero then asks if Banaza has chosen to die as a traitor to the kingdom. At that moment, the four girls step forward to defend Banaza, declaring that he is not a traitor and that the real tyrant is the so-called hero. The coward threatens to arrest them all for treason as well, but says he will ignore it if they help convince Banaza. Banaza realizes there is no reasoning with him. Not wanting to drag Rosa and the others into trouble, and unwilling to choose either option or harm the hero, he decides to simply leave. He asks Riss and the girls if they are willing to come with him, and they all agree. Rosa adds that she was always taught that demons were enemies that had to be defeated, but after living with Riss and Banaza, she began to doubt those words. She questions whether it is truly right to fight them. However, she knows that if she followed someone who threatens innocent citizens like that cowardly hero, she would never be able to face her father again. The other girls fully support her. Enraged, the tyrant hero raises his sword at Banaza and demands to know how they think they will escape. Banaza calmly surprises him, saying that he will put everyone in their proper place by using his ultimate power, the teleportation magic. Seeing such overwhelming magical power, the cowardly hero is shocked, since he himself cannot even use magic at that level. In an instant, the entire house, the people, and even the surrounding fields disappear. Faced with this scene, the cowardly hero is left completely stunned. At the same time, the soldiers report that the demon who had been speaking with Banaza is nearby. The Demon King becomes extremely furious, blaming the humans for everything that happened. He releases all of his power and summons his entire army, ordering them to immediately gather and attack the magical kingdom of Clyro. The demon cat girl hears the command at once and informs her comrades to prepare for battle, ending every sentence, as usual, with meow. At the battlefield, the cowardly hero predictably runs away, staying true to his nature. Meanwhile, Banaza finally completes his teleportation spell and brings everyone to a new location, now near H, a city west of the capital. The girls are relieved, saying that neither the hero nor the Dark Lord will be able to find them here. This is especially good news for Rosa, who had been constantly harassed by the Demon King. Banaza apologizes to Riss, but she tells him not to worry. As long as she can stay by his side, nothing else matters to her. After all, she is his wife. Together, they decide to go out for dinner and prepare a feast to celebrate their move. It is easily the fastest relocation anyone has ever seen. The girls join the celebration as well, promising to support them. Meanwhile, the demons are mercilessly beating the humans. Not only that, the entire Dark Army is breaking through the human defense lines one by one. The news is immediately reported to the king, since no one knows how long the barrier of the northern fortress can hold. Hearing this, His Majesty becomes furious and demands to know what the so-called hero is doing. A soldier explains that the coward has locked himself inside the fortress and fled the moment he sensed the demon attack. The king orders that the hero be brought to him at once. One of his men also suggests gathering all the kingdom's mages to cast Purification, because if the northern fortress falls and they cannot rely on the hero, they will have no other way to win. The king is cornered and must decide immediately. On the demon side, we meet a servant of the Demon King named Granel, who reports that preparations for the attack are complete. However, Gol orders Ulim Minas to withdraw. The cat demon protests, thinking this is the perfect time to press the attack. But Gol explains that humans will soon use purification magic and he does not want his soldiers to be affected. They obey. Just as Gol predicted, the humans gather all court mages, even the king himself, who was once a mage, and together they cast Purification. Meanwhile, in another scene, Banaza arrives home. When he opens the door, he finds Riss waiting for him. She says she already knew he would return soon. Like a good wife, she tells him the bath and dinner are ready, and if he wants neither, she is ready for the other option. Banaza turns red and gets nervous, then says they will start with dinner. They sit at the table with hot tea. Banaza mentions that he still has not found a trading partner. The place they are now staying in is called Hoon, and since there are many shops, he wants to check prices, especially how much armor usually sells for. Hearing this, the red-haired girl says she wants to raise horses and rent them to people who need to pull wagons. The strong girl suggests selling vegetables from the farm, since her pride will not let her live there for free. Banaza allows the red-haired girl to use the stables behind the house and says he loves the farming idea as well. However, Rosa and the mage feel useless, thinking they have no talents to contribute financially. Banaza proposes dividing household chores. He plans to put the blonde in the kitchen, but also asks both of them to keep training with sword and magic, since that should be their main focus. With lowered heads, they accept. Back in the kingdom, they believe the Dark Army retreated thanks to Purification and estimate they have at least 3 months before its effects fade. The princess visits the mages who collapsed, including the king, who is bedridden. They are expected to recover in 2 to 3 months. She declares that, according to the law, she will assume the king's duties starting now. Her first order, the blonde hero is stripped of his status as the kingdom's hero. He is expelled from the quarters given to him. Despite the nation being in danger, he hid instead of helping, so she considers the punishment justified. They also cannot summon another hero, since there are not enough mages left. She orders the oracle to be called. Minutes later, the cowardly blonde hero is thrown out of his quarters. A soldier tells him, "Go wherever you want, coward." The hero throws a tantrum, claiming he was chosen by the king himself, and shouting that they will come begging him when the Dark Lord attacks. The soldier slams the door in his face. Elsewhere, Banaza sleeps in a comfortable double bed. He thanks his wife for working so hard since the move. She replies that she would do anything for him. As she sleeps, Banaza, thinking she is still awake, tells her things he had never said before, that he knows living among humans is hard for her, yet she keeps the peace and does all the housework. He sincerely thanks her for that and for many other reasons. When he finishes, he realizes she is already asleep. He reflects on everything since being summoned, having no job, no home, and knows that if he were alone, he would not be okay. Humans are social beings, after all. The next morning, Banaza is invited on a date. The girls have all agreed that today he and Riss should go out together. They tell him not to worry because the 4 of them will take care of the house. Riss is so happy that she clings tightly to his arm, and at that point, Banaza finally gives in. They spend a wonderful day together. While walking around, Banaza asks Riss if there is something she truly wants. After searching for a long time, she finds a brooch made of real stone, and the fur girl is completely enchanted by it. He buys it for her. After the date, Riss spends the whole afternoon sitting at the table staring at the gift her husband gave her. The 4 girls watch her and admit they feel jealous. That night, Riss enters her lustful mode and approaches Banaza in bed, not letting him sleep. She keeps hugging him and making him nervous. In his mind, Banaza just hopes he does not accidentally fart, because that would be too embarrassing. We then move to a dark scene where the former blonde hero is searching for an object that can be used against the Dark Lord. To get there, he beat up several soldiers. As he searches, he complains about the damn crown princess. He notices that the green-haired girl is still calling him hero and staying by his side. She explains that she calls him that because she believes he will reclaim that title one day, and when that happens, she would be happy to serve him again, since she truly enjoyed being with him. Pleased, he tells her that this is the right attitude and declares that he refuses to live in this world as a mere commoner. He then wonders how Banaza can use magic that even he cannot. Suddenly, a voice speaks to him, asking if he wants power. The voice says that if he wants it, he only needs to free it. A hidden door opens, revealing a sword. The voice tells him to simply pull the sword out. When the girl moves closer, she asks what he is doing. He realizes that she cannot hear the voice and assumes that only he can, because he is the chosen hero. As he reaches for the sword, the girl warns him not to do it, since they do not know what might happen. The voice promises to grant any wish he desires. Since he no longer cares about this world, he accepts the offer and pulls out the sword. A massive surge of power throws him back, and a powerful genie appears. Her name is Ea, the being who governs the origin of light and darkness. Because he freed her, she grants him 3 wishes, which can be anything. He makes his first wish, but we are not told what it is. The scene shifts to the nobles and the queen, as the soldiers bring in the oracle. The oracle knows that if she was summoned, the situation must be extremely serious. The princess explains everything and asks if there is anything they can use as a starting point to resolve this crisis. Suddenly, black collars appear around everyone's necks. When the queen realizes that none of them can remove them, she orders the guards to immediately search the basement, suspecting an intruder. The oracle explains that these are collars of sacrifice. There exists a genie who, after granting a wish, places these collars on her victims to behead them later. This revelation terrifies the nobles even more. The princess recalls that long ago, in the kingdom of Clyro, a king once asked a genie for help to defeat the Dark Lord. In exchange, the genie sacrificed half of all living beings on the continent. To stop it, all the mages united their power to seal the genie. Although breaking that seal is extremely difficult, someone has clearly done it. Since the collars have appeared, it means someone already made a wish. They now only have limited time before the genie completes it. With no clear solution, the princess asks the oracle for help. The oracle draws her magical blue cards and uses her power, declaring that they must find the true hero who is already in this world. Everyone immediately thinks of Banaza. A high-ranking noble suggests sending soldiers to search all western cities and villages for Banaza, but the queen rejects this idea since she cannot remove soldiers from defending the kingdom. She decides to go herself. Meanwhile, Banaza is selling his dragon scale shield. The merchant mentions a rumor that a butcher received a large amount of dragon meat and asks if Banaza was responsible. Banaza confirms it, saying he used his connections to transport the meat. As for the shield, he says it came from a very secret source. The merchant understands and agrees to buy it at whatever price Banaza asks, requesting more goods from that same secret source in the future. Banaza gladly agrees and asks for a recommendation of someone who buys beast-hide products, since he just moved to the area. The merchant promises to introduce him to someone reliable. All of this is being watched by Riss and the Blonde Knight. Valia Rosa comments that Banaza has great talent for business. Riss explains that he used to be a merchant. Hearing this, the blonde sighs and says she envies Riss for having such a husband. But Riss immediately warns her not to even think about it, proudly saying that she already has Gosel Darklord. This completely traumatizes the poor blonde. Banaza arrives and calmly reassures Valia Rosa, thanking her for recommending the shop. Being the elegant woman she is happy she could help. Like a true gentleman, Banaza helps her up, and as they walk together, Valia Rosa remarks that being a merchant is clearly something he is very good at. Riss then tells him that because he is always so busy, it makes her sad that they spend less time together. She asks if they can go hunting together or go out like today from time to time. Just as they are talking, Banaza receives a notification about the sighting of a genie. When he turns around, they ask what it wants from him. It is then revealed that the blonde hero's first wish was actually to kill Banaza, whom he considered the hateful criminal who humiliated him. However, Banaza's system automatically protects him, deploying an extremely powerful self-defense magic. When the genie attacks, Riss jumps in front of Banaza to protect her husband. As a result, she suffers a deep wound and the brooch he had just bought for her breaks. Valia Rosa rushes over to check on Riss, but there is no time. The ruthless genie launches even more attacks. She is shocked to see that Banaza blocks her normal attack spells with ease. However, Banaza ignores the genie completely and focuses only on trying to heal Riss. Sadly, he cannot. He has no spell capable of curing such a deep wound. Riss is clearly on the brink of death. Her skin turns pale and her body becomes cold. The genie does not care at all and unleashes an extremely powerful magic attack called Origin of Light. Even so, Banaza remains unharmed. At that moment, his expression changes. For the first time, we see him truly furious. He threatens the genie, saying she will pay dearly for this. As he remembers all the beautiful moments he shared with Riss and her promise to live the rest of her life by his side, his rage reaches its peak, her life with him. At that moment, it is revealed that Banaza learned Origin of Light and Darkness shortly after receiving the genie's attack. Once he stands up, he uses his magic to rewind time on a target, clearly aimed at the fur girl. As a result, it is as if nothing ever happened. This completely shocks the genie and fills her with fear. She wonders how a mere human can rewind time using magic. As Banaza slowly approaches her, she does not even notice when he suddenly throws a powerful punch. Furious, she angrily asks how he dares to do that to someone who rules all the magic in the world. Banaza does not care at all. He stomps on her like an insect. Even when she tries to use magic, including Origin of Darkness, he cancels it effortlessly. He coldly tells her to shut up. He then lifts her by the head. At that moment, the genie tries to read his stats, but she is traumatized when she sees everything is infinite. Slamming her against a wall, he beats her relentlessly. She realizes that even magical defense does not work against him. He is not just powerful, he is the embodiment of power itself. Nearby, Riss stands up as if nothing happened. She is shocked to find herself alive and completely unharmed. Valia Rosa tells her that Banaza saved her. When she looks over, Riss is stunned. He is hitting the genie so hard it looks like her mind is completely broken. Even after knocking her down, he keeps attacking non-stop. Surprisingly, Riss is deeply moved. She proudly admires how merciless her husband is, especially knowing he became like this because of her. It is explained that physical attacks normally do not work on a genie of magic. She also remembers that Banaza once said he hated fighting, especially against someone who had already surrendered. Although she likes seeing this side of him, she knows this is not who Banaza truly is. After countless blows, Banaza completely incapacitates the genie. Still unsatisfied, he grabs her with one hand and begins strangling her. Intending to kill her, even as she begs for forgiveness and surrenders, he does not stop. He accuses her of severely injuring his beloved Riss, something he will never forgive. At that exact moment, Riss appears behind him and hugs him tightly, begging him not to kill her. Through tears, she tells him that although she finds his rage for her touching, it would be heartbreaking to see him lose his kindness. Hearing this, Banaza finally calms down. He releases the genie and focuses on Riss, gently holding her and crying with relief that she is alive and warm. Elsewhere, the kingdom's soldiers and the princess arrive at a location using teleportation magic alongside several exhausted mages. The princess apologizes, knowing her request is selfish since the mages have little mana left. One mage tells her that if he had full mana, he would gladly travel with her to the next city. She replies that to find the true hero, they must search the entire world. At that moment, the collars of sacrifice disappear from everyone's necks, proving that the genie failed to grant the wish. In another scene, guards are violently pounding on a door at the lower level where the genie was sealed. They demand that those inside surrender in the name of the princess. The green-haired girl panics, knowing that if they are captured, they will be killed. The blonde hero explodes in anger, insulting her and accusing her of lying when she promised to grant his wish. A voice then speaks, declaring that since the genie has failed, a perfect sacrifice will be taken instead. The green-haired girl is enveloped, her body taken over. The being is delighted, having been sealed for centuries. Disliking the girl's clothes, she changes them with magic. The blonde hero still believes she is his ally. She thanks him for freeing her from that annoying genie and introduces herself as Damalina, the great mage of darkness. She promises to grant him the power he desired. Instead, she grotesquely transforms him into a monster, mocking him and saying he looks better than his old face. She uses him like a personal mount, planning to bring divine judgment upon the foolish nobles who sealed her. As they destroy everything in their path, she notices a teleportation circle and declares that this time no one will escape, including their descendants. Returning to Banaza, he heals the genie. When she wakes up, she apologizes, shocked that she is completely healed. Banaza explains that he only did this because Riss is safe and unharmed. Valir Rosa adds that neither the knights nor the city's forces can defeat the genie. Banaza knows this is true. The genie is extremely powerful. Although he could seal her again in the castle, he believes that is not the best solution. He reveals that for some unknown reason, he now has access to her spells. He used them to enter her mind and see what happened. This stuns the genie, since memory projection magic was something only she could use, until now. Banaza explains that if she returns to the castle, the same tragedy will eventually happen again. As he speaks, Riss interrupts and suggests a better solution. From now on, the genie should become their servant as well. Banaza is about to object, but she reads his mind and already knows. She explains that since they cannot trust the castle, it would be better to keep the genie close and under watch. She adds that having such a powerful genie in their group would increase their family's prestige. Banaza tells his wife that her persuasion skills have gone far beyond what she realizes. She notices this and blushes, saying that it never hurts to have a strong pack. Still, Banaza is not convinced. He reminds her that the genie hurt her badly and asks her not to force herself into anything. Despite her pride, Riss admits this situation is frustrating and that it happened because of her own lack of strength. Understanding how his wife feels, Banaza says there is no point in staying angry at the genie. He reaches out his hand and tells the genie that if she promises never to kill anyone again and takes his hand, he will take her to heaven and they will live together peacefully. He says he is willing to forgive everything she has done. The genie is shocked by this sudden offer. Until now, she believed humans were creatures who clung to hatred and obsession, sacrificing others for their own desires, or at least that was what she thought. After meeting Banaza, she realizes not all humans are like that. She takes his hand and accepts his help. Pleased, she declares that from now on, her body and power belong to him. She gets excited remembering his cold gaze, but Riss immediately notices and tells her not to make that face or think strange things about her husband. Banaza looks around and realizes the ground is badly damaged. He thinks about using the same time manipulation magic he used to heal Riss. The genie quickly stops him, warning that manipulating time over an area can cause unpredictable accidents due to differences between inside and outside the affected zone. She says that if she were to use it, she could limit it to a single target. What surprises her most is that this is magic humans should not even be able to use. Banaza asks how he can use it. She explains that when she saw his stats, she realized he has infinite abilities. Because of this, he can use a special magic called Epiphany, which only those with the title of Transcendent can use. Epiphany means that when someone uses magic on him, he automatically learns all related spells. That is why he gained Genie-level magic after she attacked him. Hearing this, Banaza agrees not to use time magic again and instead uses repair to fix the area. When the other girls see the genie, they are shocked. They never expected a genie to become a housemate. From now on, the genie Aya will live with them and serve the great and supreme Banaza. He apologizes to the girls, explaining that the genie has nowhere else to go, treating her like a stray cat he brought home. Valir Rosa appears, and the red-haired girl, clearly the most scared, asks if it will really be okay to live with the genie. Valir Rosa reassures her, saying that as long as Banaza is there, nothing bad will happen. She takes Ia to her room. That night, Banaza thinks about everything that happened. Valir Rosa brings tea for everyone and notices he looks troubled. She asks what is wrong. Banaza apologizes, saying he is sure she went through something frightening because of him. Even though the genie said he has immense power, he still does not know how to use it properly. Valir Rosa opens up and admits that her own thoughts are confused as well. She realized that the enemy is not who she once believed, and that allies are not always truly allies. She has even begun to question why she works so hard to become strong, and against whom she should now raise her sword. But she is sure of one thing: before, she would never have questioned any of this. She thanks him for opening her eyes. Banaza listens with a gentle smile, knowing that everything she said is true. That night, he goes to bed with his wife. Without hesitation, she pushes him onto the bed. Nothing extreme, she is just worried. She now knows that Banaza might be able to return to his original world, something she learned from the genie. All she asks is that if he ever goes back, he takes her with him. Wherever he goes, she wants to follow. She begs him not to abandon her. Banaza sits her down, comforts her, and promises he will not return. He knows the world he came from would be too harsh for her. Holding her close, he swears he will not leave her behind to live in that world. Looking into her eyes, he asks if she would like to truly become his wife now, since today he was terrified at the thought of losing her. Blushing and in tears, she tells him that for her, it was never fake. She has always considered herself his wife. Although her family only taught her how to fight and lead a pack, meeting him showed her that there are many other feelings she can have. Hearing this makes Banaza happy, and he kisses her passionately. After a while, she says there is no longer any reason to hide her true form. Banaza replies that Fleo is now his identity in this world, and his current appearance is who he truly is. He says that as long as she knows his old name and form, those can remain in the past. The two continue kissing, and Banaza thinks to himself that he prefers his current body. It feels stronger and even more handsome. Suddenly, they realize the genie has been watching them, not just now, but since they started. Ia casually explains that it is her duty to watch over her supreme being and that she must observe everything he does. She adds that mating is natural for humans. Banaza immediately tells her to stop and scolds her, saying that if she is going to live here, she needs to learn basic common sense. The genie cheerfully says she will turn invisible so she can watch without bothering them. This is absolutely the last thing Banaza wants.
But Haya doesn't see what the big deal is because breeding is a natural thing. But that doesn't change the fact that he doesn't want to be watched while he's getting busy. Even though the Jinn problem got solved, the princess is still on the hunt in town for Fleo. But the only thing she knows about him is that he's supposed to be crazy powerful. So the locals ain't got a clue who she looking for. She dips from the store feeling bummed because she ain't scored any fresh leads on where the hell Fleo is at. Meanwhile, Fleo's grubbing down on a delicious meal with the crew. And this time Haya lends a hand too. Haya says she could have used magic to make everything in a snap, but Rays wanted to do it the old-fashioned way to make it special. She takes pride in her cooking because she Fleo's wifey, but since Haya wanna help out, she can handle the cleaning and laundry from now on. Haya is all stoked to be useful, but that puts everyone else in a pickle because if Haya doing all the chores now, they back to being a bunch of freeloaders. But don't forget Blossom still holding it down with her crops, so at least she's still doing her part, and she gonna make sure Haya don't take that away from her. She gonna work even harder than before with a little help from Suya, Baireli trying to make herself useful by taking care of the stables. But it's turning out to be more than she bargained for. Meanwhile, Bolano going through a major soul-searching moment. She feel like she letting down her brother and father because she bounced from the Knight's Order before she could officially become a mage like them. Right now she ain't seeing a reason to keep pushing herself to get stronger. But when Fleo teaching her magic, he's staying patient as hell with her till she finally gets it. She don't want to waste the effort he putting into teaching her. Just then, Bolano and Baireli hear Blossom screaming her head off. So they rush outside and find out some crazy magic beast has somehow made its way into the fields, tearing them up for no reason. The beast charges at them, but Bolano's training paying off because she able to throw up a magic shield without running out of mana. Thanks to that, they both come out without a scratch. Balirosa be apologizing for causing this whole mess because she the one who brought the beast up in here. She was out hunting when she stumbled upon it, but it was acting way calmer than usual beast, so she couldn't bring herself to off it. But if that thing starts randomly attacking folks, she got no choice but to take it down for everyone's safety. But Baireli doesn't think it's gonna be necessary because she done figured out why the beast went bonkers in the first place. She tells Suya to morph back into his bunny form so the horse won't get spooked no more. Then she hooks up a rope to a shovel and tosses it in the horse's mouth before hopping on. With her janky bridle, she starts calming the horse till it stops going buck wild, and everyone gives her mad props for taming the magical beasts so smoothly. Baireli feeling accomplished, and it gets her thinking. So she asks Balirosa if they can use the land around Fleo's house. Problem is that land belongs to the local lord, so they can't just claim it. But they could straight up buy the rights from the lord like Fleo did when he moved the house here. And that sparks an idea in Baireli's head. Meanwhile, Fleo out in town chilling with Rays, and she hyped they are finally getting some alone time with him. It ain't exactly a date because he just swung by to sell off some of his gear. But that's cool enough for Rays. Fleo steps into the store to sell some lightweight armor, and the owner digging how well crafted it is, but he want to add some color to it. So he starts showing Fleo some flashy stones he could use for future batches. While Fleo handling business, Ray's waiting outside, and she can barely contain her excitement about how fine Fleo looks while he working. But then out of nowhere the sky goes dark, and that ain't a good sign. The princess and her squad just linked up when this magic circle appears in the sky. And this blonde monster swoops down on the village with Damalinas, ready to spill some blood. By now Fleo peeped that something ain't right, so he links back up with Rays who spills about the monster that popped up. Fleo ain't sure what caused this, but he dead set on keeping the townsfolk safe. Meanwhile, soon as Damalina spots the princess, she is ready to attack. And to their credit, the guards stood their ground against her with bravery, but they way outmatched by her power. So Damalina's just busts out a small spell to blow them away. Haya pulls up to the scene right after picking up some heavy evil vibes in the area. And now that she's here, she tells Fleo that the monster going wild is actually a transformed human. And the real danger is that witch Damalina's chilling on the monster's shoulder. Back in the day, Damalina's was the top mage in Clyrode, but then she messed up big time by messing with dark magic. Before she could wreak havoc, the hero of that time took her down. But even with her body destroyed, her spirit stayed strong because of all that hatred. So they had to seal it up in a pedestal, which coincidentally is the same one holding Haya's sword seal. That's why Haya feels somewhat responsible for Damalina's breaking free. Even though it was hella dumb for the royal family to think it's a great idea to seal two major threats in the same place, Haya tells Fleo she wants to handle Damalina's herself, and Fleo ain't got no objections. But he reminds her that keeping the people safe gotta be the #1 priority. Meanwhile, Damalina's is straight up laughing at the princess because she only got one guard left standing. And even though his legs are shaking like crazy, he deserves a raise for his dedication. The princess recognizes Damalina's from the history books, so she knows she's in deep trouble. And Damalina's wants to save her every moment as she gets her revenge on the royal family. But before the princess gets flattened, Haya busts out a fire spell to shield her. Damalina's can't believe Haya got the nerve to stand in the way of her revenge, but Haya couldn't care less about Damalina's plans because she's just doing what her master wants. Damalina's ain't backing down, so she throws a lightning spell at Haya, but it ain't doing a damn thing because Haya blocks it with one hand. Haya's at the peak of magic in this world, and since Damalina's is a being of this world, no matter how powerful she may seem, her magic won't ever harm Haya. Since magic ain't working, Damalina switches it up and gets the blonde monster to try stomping on Haya while she casts another attack spell. But it still ain't affecting Haya in the slightest. Damalina's is straight up desperate, so she goes all out with her dark magic to make that blonde monster even bigger, so she can wreck shit up big time. And damn, it would have caused some serious chaos if her spell lasted more than 3 seconds. But Fleo comes running and saying he saw the evil-looking spell being cast, so he had to cancel that shit with his release magic. Haya says sorry to him for not taking care of Damalina's quickly enough and for causing him so much trouble. But Fleo ain't holding it against her at all. Haya still wants to make it right though, so she asks if she can finish off Damalina's. And once she gets the green light, she uses a spell to suck her soul out of Suya and turns her into a tasty piece of candy. Then Haya just straight up swallows that candy without even thinking twice. Fleo asks if it's cool for her to just munch on Damalina's like that, but she says it's perfectly safe since Damalina's is now sealed in her mindscape, where she's gonna get some serious torture, re-education until she changes her wicked ways. But forget about that for a second. They don't know what the hell to do about the blonde hero, because he's the one who caused this whole freaking mess. But Fleo don't want to waste his breath talking to him, so they're just gonna leave his ass for the castle guards to deal with. Just then Princess Elizabeth rolls up, and she's freaking relieved to finally find Fleo. She introduces herself and apologizes like crazy for all the disrespect he had to endure from the king and the previous hero. Fleo tells her she doesn't need to apologize, but he's surprised to hear they actually fired the blonde hero. That blonde hero already caused way too much trouble, so it was an easy call for Elizabeth to make. And now that the kingdom's without a hero, she's hoping Fleo will be down to roll with her back to the castle and become the true hero of the freaking kingdom. Fleo appreciates her polite ask, but he's still gotta turn down that responsibility. If she's looking for a hero, she better find someone who ain't afraid to use their power for the sake of humanity. But that person ain't gonna be Fleo because he don't really give a damn about humanity here. All he wants is to live in peace with his wife, so he ain't getting mixed up in any political shit at all. Fleo finally rolls back home, and the girls straight up swarm him with a favor to ask. They want him to think about expanding his turf because Byrelli wants to start catching and raising magical beasts, and Blossom wants to extend her farmland to grow more crops. With these new activities, they can haul in the extra veggies to town using horses and make extra profit selling them. Reyes likes the idea, but she's concerned that the magical beasts won't play nice because they're just humans, so she thinks it might be smarter to stick with horses instead. Byrelli thought about it, but keeping horses ain't cheap. Plus, if she lets the magical beasts roam around in a big open field for a while, they'll probably chill out and be peaceful. Fleo's down with the plan, so he says he'll go talk to the local lord to get permission, and the girls appreciate it. But Byrelli says they want to handle the negotiation and buying on their own to properly contribute to the house. Fleo doesn't have a problem with it, but land is pretty damn expensive, so he wants to make sure they know the price tag if they want to buy the land themselves. After some quick calculations, the girls are blown away by the numbers, and they can't believe land's still so damn expensive way out in the countryside. Fleo explains that since he arrived, demons stopped showing up, so the land prices shot through the roof because it's safer now. The girls start thinking about selling all their stuff to afford the land, but Fleo tells them ain't no need. He'll pay for the land himself since he'll be part of the house. He's gonna be part of the house anyway, so it's only fair the house owners buy it. He'd be happy if they just took care of the land for him, but the girls ain't feeling like they would be contributing much in that scenario. So instead, they settle on a deal to pay Fleo 30% of the profits they make from using his land. The girls are stoked with the arrangement, so they all jump right into working on the new land once Fleo seals the deal. And since we're talking about farming, Fleo suggests growing something that ain't normally farmed in this area to max out the profits. He can mess with the climate around the crops a bit, so it should be doable. But Blossom ain't feeling the idea because she thinks farming gotta be done by hand, and she ain't down with taking any extra help from Fleo because she wants to pay him back her own way. If she really doesn't want Fleo to get involved, Then Haya steps up and offers to do the magical climate control instead. But Blossom still ain't having it because she believes magical farming ain't natural. Haya ain't gonna push the matter, but she does mention that doing it without magic is gonna be mad inefficient. And Bolano backs her up, telling Blossom to let Haya work her magic on the farm, because she's curious to see how it turns out. They peep that she all dressed up for something, so she spills that she was about to head out to the Magic Academy because they accepted her. She wanted to go there to relearn magic from the ground up. But after the application test, they thought she was legit enough to become a teacher there. And it's all thanks to Fleo teaching her how to be way less of a screw-up with magic. Fleo helped her see that magic can be used for more than just fighting. So she really wants Blossom to give growing crops with magic a shot too. And after a bit of persuading from Fleo, she finally gives in. Now everyone's doing their part to bring in some dough for the house, except for Balirosa, who's still technically a freeloader. While watching them, Fleo tells Reyes that he's also been thinking about something long-term, and his goal is to open up a shop one day. Reyes loves the idea and promises to spread the word to all her crew so they'll show up on the grand opening day, and she'll make sure they all take human forms because her homies are demons. It's kinda off topic, but Fleo takes the moment to give Reyes a gift he had made for her. It's a wedding ring, and he wants her to accept it to officially mark their marriage. And she happily agrees. In other news, that blonde loser got locked up in the castle dungeon, and he's likely gonna get executed for all his crimes of breaking into the castle treasury, unleashing some serious threats, and worst of all, having a hella annoying voice. A while later, Balirosa starts picturing herself in a freaking wedding dress, but then she spots Uliminus showing up to congratulate her. And that's when she realizes this dream is straight up her worst nightmare because she's supposed to marry the Dark One. He tells her she can call him Gozul because there ain't no need to be all formal now that she's his wifey. And to make it a grand occasion, the whole demon army jumps in and tells her they're gonna step up their game to take over the world, just so they can give it to her as a wedding gift. But Balirosa starts backtracking like crazy because she doesn't want no damn world. But then the Dark One interrupts her and grabs her chin, going in for a kiss. And that's when she wakes up from this messed up nightmare. She's relieved it was all just a nightmare, but now she's wondering why the hell she's dreaming about the Dark One marrying her when she never even considered being in a relationship with him. Balirosa starts freaking out because she knows this means there's gonna be more drama with the Dark One real soon. But the others couldn't care less, telling her to keep her panic attack to herself because they're trying to get some sleep. The next morning, Balirosa's still feeling drained from all the screaming she did the night before. So while they're all baking together, Reyes asks if she's alright. Balirosa plays it off, saying she's cool, but she didn't get enough sleep because she's been having some messed up dreams lately. Even without Balirosa spilling the deets about who's in her dreams, Reyes figures out she must be lovesick. Reyes believes dreams show what a person desires the most. But here's the kicker. That means Balirosa must secretly want the Dark One, and she ain't trying to accept that. The other girls hear the word love, and they drop whatever they're doing to rush into the kitchen, all ears for the juicy details about who Balirosa's crushing on. Their detective skills are on point because they immediately figure out it's the Dark One she's secretly in love with. It makes sense to them because Gozul been showing up all the time just to see her. But Balirosa's still in denial, claiming Gozul was only here to meet up with Fleo, like it had nothing to do with her. However, the squad knows for a fact that Gozul was straight up here for Balirosa, because he would dip if she wasn't around. Balirosa's got no more excuses to explain his actions, so she's coming to terms with the idea that he might actually be feeling her. The crew suggests she talks it out with Gozul, just like Fleo and Reyes did, thinking she could bridge the gap between humans and demons, although she may not want to marry him after just one day like Reyes did. Now that she brings it up, nobody's ever heard Reyes spill about how she fell for Fleo in the first place, and they all hella curious, so they gather around and ask her what made her fall for the dude. Turns out Fleo's chilling in the room and hears every damn thing Reyes says about him, and he's feeling hella embarrassed right now. But his embarrassment gets interrupted when one of his alarms goes off. He set up a barrier around the village to keep demons out and protect the town, but something managed to slip through. Haya confirms their suspicions, saying she senses the power of a demon nearby, so it's gotta be a sneaky demon that made it in. The crew asks if the village's gonna be in danger, but Fleo ain't sure if this demon's a threat yet because they ain't caused no harm and didn't wreck the barrier. So for now, he just wants everyone to keep an eye on the town and make sure nothing bad goes down. Meanwhile, over in the palace, the princess gets some crazy news. When Fleo turned down her offer to be the official hero of the kingdom, He made it clear he wanted to stay neutral in all the drama between humans and demons, but he gave her a bag of gold coins he got when he first rolled in and asked her to use them to rebuild the damaged city. The alarming part in all this is that the gold coins Fleo had ain't in circulation among the public. And as far as her advisor knows, they only gave those coins to one person before, and that would be Banaza, the dude they summoned as a hero and then kicked to the curb right away. Her advisor suspects Fleo and Banaza might be the same person. And if that's the real deal, it ain't a surprise why Fleo wants nothing to do with the royal family. Before anything else, she wants to formally apologize to Fleo for how they treated him when he first rolled up. While she's racking her brain trying to figure out what to do, a guard shows up and drops some messed up news. The dumbass Blondie and Suya somehow busted out of their cells and straight up flooded the damn castle. The guard's apologizing because he never thought Blondie had enough brain cells to come up with an escape plan. But the princess ain't pointing fingers at him and just asks him to let the adventurers all over the kingdom know they gotta track down Blondie. Elizabeth wishes they had just made Fleo the hero from the beginning, but there's no use dwelling on what could have been. Meanwhile, the guards are out there searching for Blondie and Suya, but they can't find a damn trace of them. As the guards bounce to search another spot, you can peep two figures chilling in the bushes. Suya's straight up pissed because they've been on the run since they busted out of those cells. Blondie's putting the blame on Haya for not being able to grant his wishes, so now he's looking like a straight up criminal. Suya points out that he straight up escaped prison and swiped shit from the castle treasury. But Blondie's still trying to make excuses for his actions. Yeah, they might have escaped prison, but he's claiming he never actually stole nothing. But that's straight up bull, because in the middle of all the chaos, he jacked a magic bag. Accord to Blondie's twisted logic, that ain't stealing because he's just taking what the kingdom owed him. They agreed to hook him up with enough cash to live the good life once he was done being a hero. But that means he had to do something heroic in the first place. He thinks it's only fair he gets to keep at least one magic bag. But now that he thinks about it, he ain't even checked what's inside. He peeks inside the bag and damn to his horror, there ain't a single dollar in there. All he finds is a bottomless water pouch and a treasure chest. The treasure chest at least piques his interest, so our hero pulls it out, thinking maybe he can sell whatever's inside and make some money. But when he pops it open, he finds some shit called a drill bulldozer shovel. Right then, the guards catch wind of their position because of the noise they made, so they all start hauling ass straight for the damn bush they've been hiding in. But when they get to the damn bush, there ain't shit there. Blondie and Suya pulled a slick move and straight up dug their way underground. They're hella impressed with that shovel's power. No wonder it was locked away in the castle treasury. Perfect for keeping them hidden, but now they gotta figure out how the hell they gonna bounce from here. Meanwhile, over at the demon castle, Gozel gets a report from Ulimina's, telling him she still ain't found Fleo or his crew, specifically talking about Balirasa. Ulimina's apologizes and explains her intel squad has been searching high and low, but there's a chance Fleo might have dipped to another damn country. Gozel ain't buying that shit because even though Fleo's magic is crazy strong, teleportation magic only lets you go to places you've been before. Ain't been that long since Fleo got summoned to this world, so ain't no way he had time to visit another damn country. Even if that's the case, Ulimina's can't help but question why they putting so much focus on finding Fleo instead of pushing forward with the army and taking on the humans. No matter how badass that purification magic is, if they bring enough magical beasts to the border, they can flood the area with Milicium again and open up some damn paths into the kingdom. If they act now, they might even bring down the whole damn castle. Gozel's had enough and reminds Ulimina's that Fleo can handle purification magic all by his damn self. So even if they cut through the purification and attack his new house, he can just spam that damn spell and kick them out. That's why they gotta find Fleo first. But Ulimina's still worried because the people be getting restless over Gozel not fully committing to the war effort. So Gozel gets up from his throne and starts walking over to her. Ulimina's fears she did piss him off, but he actually just apologizes to her for not being down to do what she thinks is necessary. He don't see the point in sacrificing so many of their comrades just to beat some damn humans. Ulimina's finally understand his views now, but damn, someone was straight up eavesdropping on their conversation, and by the look of those glasses she's going to be trouble later on. She goes and spills to Ulimina's brother Uagard, and he's pissed. Not only is Gozel holding back on pushing the army forward, but he's also talking about adding some human named Fleo to the demon army. The demon tries to explain that Fleo supposedly has some insane power, but Uagard couldn't care less and puts his foot down. It doesn't matter how strong he is, because if he's a human, they just gotta take him out. The demon agrees with his logic, so Uegard declares he's taking over as the Dark One because his brother ain't fit to lead the demons. Back in the kingdom, Fleo just finished up shopping with Raze, and even though his barrier sensed another breach, things seem pretty chill here, so he ain't too worried. And since they got some extra time before they gotta head home, Fleo suggests they hang out and grab some lunch. But as they're walking, they notice one of their favorite general supply stores is shutting down. They go over to ask Holdy what happened, and she confirms she's closing her store because she can't find a supplier no more. The place she used to go got wrecked in the last battle with the demon army. When they finally get to the restaurant they wish to eat at, they run into Balirosa, and since she's there, she offers to treat both of them to lunch. Raze ain't too thrilled because her romantic lunch with Fleo got ruined, and she's wondering what made Balirosa suddenly want to treat them to a meal. Balirosa explains that her adventure rank recently went up by 1, so she got more reward money, but deep down, she just wants to shake off her thoughts on the demon that's been tailing her. Regardless of her reasons, she still wants to thank Fleo and Raze for all they've done, so Fleo and Raze accept her offer. But before they can go in to eat, Haya shows up all panicky because some crazy powerful being is heading their way. She asks Fleo to step back so she can defend him. And to Balirosa's horror, they all realize it's Gozel. After Gozel shows up, they all head inside to eat, and he explains he came because his intel squad detected some funky magical signatures in the area. It's a damn lucky coincidence they all ended up meeting again. Dude also wants to have a private convo with Balirosa, so she starts stressing like he might be trying to pop the question or something. When the fruit comes through, Gozel starts talking about how he used to love human food and would straight up sneak into spots like this before he went all Dark Lord, just so he could enjoy it. Gozel asks Balirosa if she got skills in the kitchen, but Shorty's too embarrassed to answer. So Raze jumps in and tells Gozel that Balirosa's a dessert queen, which only makes her even more red-faced. Fleo asks if Gozel's into human culture, and he doesn't deny it. But he adds that a kingdom's culture also reflects its military strength, so he's like on a reconnaissance mission or some shit. Balirosa can't hold it in no more and straight up yells at Gozel for trampling over human lives. And dude ain't flinching because he knows damn well the harm he's causing. Just because humans see demons as pestilence doesn't give him the right to wreck their lives because of it. Fleo asks Gozel what he means by pestilence, so Gozel breaks it down for him. All demons got this malicium stuff in their bodies, but not all of them can control it like Raze or Gozel. So when a bunch of demons gather in one place, it becomes dangerous for humans. Plus demons are known for being stubborn as hell and always ready to throw down over the smallest thing. So negotiations are like never an option. Gozel peeps the silence and apologizes for killing the vibe, and then bounces for the day. As Fleo and the crew head back home, Fleo's got a lot to think about. At first he was relieved because he didn't see any discrimination against demihumans in this world, but the tension between humans and demons is on a whole another level, and it's messing with his head. And in other news, Blondie and Suya are still trying to climb out of the hole they dug themselves into. Suya's the first one to make it out, but her thickness making it a struggle. And when Blondie asks what the hell's taking so damn long, he hits his face on what bomb Suya's packing, so he gets all distracted, and the pervert falls right back down into the pit. The next day, Raze whips up some bomb-ass burgers for Fleo and the crew. Everybody's straight up mind blown by how freaking delicious those burgers look and taste. It's even better than restaurant burgers. Then out of freaking nowhere, there's a knock on the door, and Fleo heads out to see who the hell it is. And it's the princess and her crew rolling up. Raze steps out too, and Fleo asks the princess what she's doing here, because he already told her before he ain't interested in being a hero. The princess says she's here today to apologize to Fleo for dragging his ass into this world, only to ditch him when he didn't have any mad skills. Both Fleo and Raze are totally caught off guard because their secret's been spilled. So they invite the princess inside, and Balirosa serves her up some tea. While Balirosa's all kissing up to her, the princess gives her a little nod of thanks, and Balirosa's eating that up like a hungry dog. Then the princess asks Balirosa and the other girls to dip because she wants to have a private chat with Fleo. But Raze ain't having it. She straight up objects, saying that the kingdom's treated her husband like crap till now, so she ain't leaving him alone with the princess. Fleo grabs Raze's hand and tells the princess that she can send everyone else away. But his wife ain't going anywhere. He straight up says that if the princess can't talk in front of his wife, she might as well bounce back to her fancy palace. Raze is over the moon to hear that, but she quickly refocuses on the meeting. The princess agrees to the deal, and Fleo signals all the girls to bounce from the room. Once they're alone, the princess drops to her knees and gives a heartfelt apology on behalf of the whole damn kingdom. She admits that putting spells on his bag and ditching him in that dangerous forest were the kingdom's biggest sins. Fleo tells her to lift her head because she ain't talking to any hero right now, just a regular ordinary merchant. The princess asks him if he ain't gonna accept her apology, but he tells her it ain't gonna change squat. He tells her to cut to the chase because she ain't come all this way just to apologize. The princess admits he's right, and then lays out this magic map in front of him. There are these glowing dots on the map that show where the kingdom's army is posted. The princess tells him that the spell keeping the castle safe is losing power soon, and then the demon army gonna amp up their invasion. She says their mages ain't fully recovered their magic yet, and they ain't got enough troops to protect all the towns either. Her plan is to station their soldiers only at the most important spots, leaving a bunch of towns wide open. The princess wants Fleo to step up and protect all those vulnerable towns, and he's left speechless. Reyes goes off on the princess, asking how she got the nerve to drag Fleo into their war when he's a dude who hates violence. The princess says the king who cast the Purification spell gonna recover soon, and when he does, he'll probably send an army after Fleo and Reyes, accusing them of working with demons. This gets Reyes all fired up, and she asks the princess if she's trying to throw threats at them. The princess says she's actually plotting the opposite. She explains that while she's temporary ruler, she got enough power to bring the former king to justice for disrespecting Fleo and appointing that fake hero. She plans to make him give up his throne, and she needs Fleo's help for that. The princess says the king's a big-headed prick, and she wants to do better when she takes the throne from him. But to do that, she gotta prove she can lead the army better than him, and that's where she needs Fleo to lend a hand. Reyes starts snapping again, but Fleo shuts her down. He's figured out the princess's true plan. Reyes ain't getting it, so he breaks it down step by step for her. He tells her that the princess showed him the troop locations on the map because she trusts him. She wants him to keep that info to himself, showing the world he ain't joining the demon army. The princess admits he's right and says she wants to save the towns too. She asks Fleo once again for his help. Meanwhile, the ex-hero and his beefy sidekick are still on the land. They're hiding behind some bushes, and the girl suddenly starts bawling because she's hungry as hell. The ex-hero pulls out some cookies from his magic bag and hands them to her. He asks why the hell she's sticking around after all this mess, and she's wondering the same damn thing about him. She knows she's just dead weight, and he could escape a lot easier if he ditched her. He's caught off guard by her words. Then the girl says that the moment he busted them outta that prison cell was pretty damn cool. She keeps giving him props, saying he's got his moments every now and then, and he starts blushing. He gets up and tells her to hurry her ass along, when out of nowhere, a black spider creeps up next to her. The spider shoots some web and ties up the girl, and before the washed-up hero can lend a hand, he gets caught up in the spider's web too. A freaking demon mama shows up and says she's found some fine specimens for her next experiment, totally freaking both of them out. Back at Fleo's house, he's lying in bed at night, thinking about his conversation with the princess earlier. Reyes peeps him lost in thought, so she comes over to his bed. He tells her that even though he despises fighting, he can't bear the thought of those small towns being in danger either. He adds that he's been thinking that if he and Reyes ever have kids of their own, he wants them to live in happiness alongside both humans and demons. He knows it's damn near impossible to make that dream a reality, but he feels like he gotta do it for them. Reyes, however, is confident that if anyone can make that impossible dream come true, it's Fleo. She grabs his hand, promising to always have his back in any way she can, and he thanks her with a smile. Right after that, the demon army storms the kingdom, and folks start bouncing from their towns and villages. One girl gets left behind because she was playing in the woods when the demons roll up. She's scared as hell for her life, but just as a demon's about to pounce on her, Fleo shows up riding Reyes and rocking a wolf mask. Reyes knocks the demon away, and then Fleo jumps off and throws up a protective barrier spell to hold off the demons. He tells the girl to haul ass, and she does just that. Reyes ain't too thrilled that Fleo agreed to the princess's request without even asking for some kind of reward. But Fleo says if he asked for cash, word would spread about him being a gold digger. He claims that the moment he agreed to listen to the princess, he already lost the battle of wits. That freaks Reyes out because in her culture, if a dude loses to a chick, she can force him to be her husband. Fleo tries to convince her it ain't gonna happen. While the demons watching that shit, they wanna know why a demon wolf is rolling with humans. Fleo tells them they're the protectors of this town and tells the demons to back the hell off if they want to stay alive. The demons act all high and mighty and tell him not to underestimate their power, but Reyes reminds them they can't even cross his barrier. Right then, the boss of the demons shows up. He's a giant red cyclops wielding a massive club. Reyes tells Fleo that the Cyclops clan is one of the toughest types of demons, serving the demon lord's brother directly. The Cyclops looks at Reyes and starts talking smack, saying her brother was too weak to be a demon general and it's a good thing he died. Reyes gets pissed off and asks Fleo to step aside because she wants to handle the Cyclops herself. She says she won't let her brother's death bring shame to their mighty clan. As his sister, she's gonna reclaim their name and show everyone who the strongest demon clan is. Fleo says he ain't got the right to stop her because it's personal business, but he still asks her not to straight up kill the demons. She agrees and steps out of the barrier. The Cyclops swings his heavy club at her, smashing trees with each swing, but he's too damn slow, and Reyes easily dodges all his attacks. He keeps chasing after her, and she uses her mad agility to land small hits on him over and over. The Cyclops asks her if she thinks this is gonna be enough to take him down. Reyes tells him if she was still her old self, she would have ripped him apart already. But after meeting Fleo, she's learned to control her power. She tells the Cyclops to be grateful to her man because he doesn't want him dead. Then she activates a skill and leaps high in the damn air. And with her next move, she switches places with the Cyclops, making him fall free. He throws his club at her, but that's a rookie mistake because Reyes switches their positions again. The Cyclops gets smacked in the head with his own club, and then Reyes decides to finish him off. She's floating 4 trees in the damn air with her magic. Then she uses gravity magic to speed them up and send them crashing towards him. She hammers the 4 bite wounds she gave the Cyclops earlier and pins him to the ground. With that, the Cyclops tells his minions to attack her, but Fleo uses his magic to instantly restrain all the demons. Reyes says he should have let her handle them all, but Fleo says they already won, and he's seen how strong she is. Then he heals the Cyclops, and the dude's all confused about his motives. Fleo tells him he's just doing this so they can go back home in peace. Then he busts out some lightning magic to intimidate the demons and says if they don't leave on their own, he can send them packing by force. Everybody's shaking in their boots, and before long, they start running away. With that, Fleo takes down the barrier he put up, and he says it's a damn good thing they pulled it off. Reyes hugs him and says all the practice they did at home paid off. Earlier, Reyes taught Fleo the most important thing in a fight is pressure. She told him to be confident and badass to scare the demons, and damn, it really worked. Reyes, however, wonders if that's the best approach. She thinks that breaking every damn bone of those demons would ensure they never come back. Fleo agrees she's got a point, but he thinks that method would just make the hate between humans and demons even worse. Right then, the townsfolk show up to thank Fleo for saving their asses, but they're worried about the demon wolf rolling with him. He assures them that the wolf is his partner. The girl they rescued also comes to give them thanks. Fleo spills that they're here because of the princess's request, so they should be thanking her instead of them. With that, he hops back on Reyes, and they ride off to the next damn town. Before long, word spreads about a badass adventurer and his wolf sidekick scaring off demons. The news reaches the princess, and she realizes the adventurer is none other than Fleo. Her heart's filled with gratitude for the dude now. She thinks he's done so much for them, and this time she's got to pay him back. Meanwhile, Fleo and Reyes are doing their job of scaring the demons away. Demon Lord Gozel's keeping an eye on them, and he ain't too pleased that his brother Uegard sent troops here without his say-so. Right then, one of his minions shows up and tells him Uegard's pulled off a coup and already taken over the throne room. In the Demon King's throne room, Uegard's sitting on the throne while his goon mama shows him the 2 humans she's snatched. She tells him everything's set, and when Gozel comes to face them, she'll sacrifice the 2 humans to the demon god and unleash a secret technique that'll straight up wreck even Gozel. Uegard's waiting eagerly for his brother, thinking that once he takes him down, he'll be the new demon king, no doubt. The next morning, Fleo gets a couple of unexpected visitors, Gozel and Uliminas, who ask if they can come inside. They all sit down with Fleo and get some tea, and Fleo asks what's the deal that brought them here today. Uliminas seems all gloomy, just looking down while Gozel smiles and says he's here to ask a favor from Fleo. Our hero is caught off guard because he doesn't know what he can give to the freaking Demon King himself. He asks what kind of favor Gozel wants, and Gozel coolly says he wants permission to crash at Fleo's house for a while. Fleo's sitting there stunned trying to process the news, but Reyes thinks it's a joke and starts cracking up. Uluminous gets pissed and asks why the hell Reyes thinks it's a joke when the freaking Demon King himself is asking this favor. Gozel tells her to chill and explains to Fleo that he's in a sticky situation. He says his throne got snatched by his punk-ass little brother Uagard, who staged a coup while Gozel was away. Gozel clarifies that he wants them to know he ain't involved in any of the recent demon attacks because he ain't ordered them either. Turns out before Gozel could make it back to his castle, Uluminous heard the news and went running to the eternal 4 demons of the Demon King army. She thought they'd help her overthrow Uagard, but to her surprise, they all seemed to be neutral on the matter. Apparently, they got approached by Pufu beforehand, who asked them to stay neutral because there's gonna be a showdown between the 2 brothers for the Demon King throne. Uluminous is horrified by all this and asks how the hell they could believe such crap. But Pufu says she's been noticing that Gozel's been spending less and less time with the demons in his castle lately. Instead, he's been wandering around cities, blending in with the humans in disguise. She's thinking this might be a wake-up call for him to realize that his crew is starting to rebel against his ways. Feeling defeated, she turns to the 2-headed Phoenix demon and tries to play with his emotions, claiming that Gozel personally raised him. But the bird ain't buying it and says it's a whole different story. When it comes to succession, only the strong can rule. And lately Gozel's been slipping, unable to make tough decisions, which is causing the war against humanity to come to a standstill. She then looks at the centaur and asks if he's turning into a traitor too. If they were truly loyal, they'd march up to the throne and toss every single person involved in the coup into the slammer, so they never see the light of day again. The centaur keeps his cool, gazes at her, and calmly says he'll always be loyal to Gozel. He believes the throne belongs to him, but he also sees it as a golden opportunity for Gozel to flex his true powers, crush this revolt, and regain dominance. That's why he's staying neutral. Uluminous feels defeated but walks alongside them into the throne room, where they find Uagard posted up on the throne, with Pufu right beside him, claiming they're in the presence of the new Demon King. The fish demon girl tells her to chill out because Uagard ain't snatched the throne just yet, but Pufu reminds them they pledged to stay neutral. Uluminous gets all riled up at Pufu and tells her they got no right to the throne. But Pufu ain't having it, straight up roasts her, and starts laughing. This fires her up even more, and she charges ahead, swearing she ain't no traitor, trying to slash Uagard with her sharp claws. But surprise, even though her attack lands, Uagard ain't got a scratch on him. Instead, her claws break on impact. Uagard gives her a cold look and punches her away, saying he don't need weaklings by his side. Pufu decides to finish her off, but out of nowhere Gozel steps in and shields Uluminous, asking his underling to get her to safety. Uagard tells Gozel he's done waiting and challenges him to a fight for the throne. Gozel tells Uagard that this whole thing is hella childish, and he can't understand why he's acting like this. Uagard fires back saying Gozel's been acting mad suspicious, and Pufu jumps in saying they had all the chances to take over the human territory. But Gozel always backed out at the last minute. He could have just forced his way to the palace, but he didn't want to spill any innocent blood. And on top of that, he's been spending too much time with humans, enjoying their lifestyle, which makes him unworthy of being a demon. Gozel steps up and turns to his loyal eternal 4 demons, asking if they believe this too. They just stand there in silence, and Gozel gets the message loud and clear. Out of nowhere, he starts powering up. While Uagard gets ready for a brawl, the Eternal 4 get hyped because they can feel Gozel's crazy strong powers radiating from him. Pufu realizes this too and gets ready to sacrifice the fake hero and the thoughts to gain more power. But to everyone's surprise, Gozel takes off the Demon King ring from his arm, tosses it to his brother, and declares that he's giving up his claim to the throne. They're all left dumbfounded, trying to figure out what's going on. Uagard gets pissed, thinking he's being played, but Gozel tells him there's no point in fighting for the throne when his crew don't trust or believe in him no more. And with that, he starts walking away. But Uagard ain't finished yet and thinks he's being mocked, so he charges at Gozel. But Gozel swiftly delivers a back kick so powerful, it smashes him through walls like they're nothing, and sends Uagard flying out of the castle. He tells him it's payback for what he did to Uluminous. Pufu chases after Uagard, while the Eternal 4 are left stunned because they never saw this coming. With that, Gozel wraps up his story and says since he denounced the demon army, he can't stay in their territory no more. And in the human territory, Fleo's the only one he can call a friend. Fleo looks at him skeptically and says he'll have to check with his housemates first before making a decision. Sometime later, Gosel gathers the rest of the girls in the room, and they all take a seat in front of him as Fleo fills them in on what's been going down. They're all shocked by the updates, and Blossom asks about the recent attacks from the Demon King army. Gosel makes it clear that he ain't involved in that mess, stating that he told his troops to stand down. Bolano still seems a little scared and wonders if Gosel will still be like when he was coming around for tea and breakfast like before. Gosel assures them they got no reason to fear him no more since he ain't the Demon King and ain't part of their army. That eases their minds a bit. But Uluminous complains about how they wouldn't have to ask for a place to stay if Gosel didn't give away all their money to the army's intelligence department. Gosel replies that their work was crucial to keep innocent folk safe, and they deserved a good paycheck for it. He explains that he took the throne from his old man because he didn't like his ways, so it was bound for something like this to happen to him too, but he ain't got no regrets. In fact, he says they can now focus on other things, like how Fleo disguised himself and protected the town. Fleo's surprised that the Demon King knew about his actions and turns to the other girls, asking their thoughts about Gosel staying with them. The others seem cool with it, but Balirosa ain't too keen on having the literal Demon King in their house. But Reyes steps in and tells her he ain't even the Demon King no more, and she manages to convince her emotionally to go along with their plan. So the Demon King moves in with them, but he seems to struggle finding something to do. He approaches Blossom and offers to help her, but she declines, saying she don't want any more magic in her crops. With that, he heads over to the stables where Byrelli's taking care of the demon horses. He asks if he can lend a hand, but the horse gets spooked by his intense aura, and Byrelli tells him to bounce. Next, he steps into Fleo's workshop, admiring all the armor pieces he's crafted. They have a chat about it while Uluminous watches, seeing Gosel having more fun than ever as the Demon King. Later that night, they all gather around a bonfire, chowing down and shooting the breeze. But Balirosa still looks uneasy, keeping her distance. Later, she can't sleep and gazes at the moon when Reyes and Fleo enter the room, offering her some tea and snacks. Reyes apologizes for manipulating her, but she brushes it off, saying she's just a housemate anyway. Fleo chimes in, saying he loves the way they're living now, each of them playing their roles, complementing each other, and living in perfect harmony. Balirosa looks off into the distance, thinking she might not belong there because she ain't got nothing to offer. She knows Gosel wouldn't harm a human, and that he ain't the Demon King anymore, but she also knows that humans and demons ain't all that different. They both have friends and family. But even with that knowledge, she can't pretend to live peacefully under the same roof as a demon. She's seen the horrors suffered by knights who mourn their lost loved ones. Fleo locks eyes with her and tells her she don't have to get along with them if she don't want to. He explains that Gosel can live anywhere, and the real reason he's there is because he's scared Uegard might try something against them. Reyes also looks at her and reminds her that she ain't useless. She's the one who taught her how to bake cookies, offering her some as a sign of appreciation. The next morning, Balirosa walks up to the demons and tells them she's cool with staying with them, but she'll be keeping an eye on them. If they harm a single human, she ain't never gonna forgive them. Gosel smiles, and Uluminous mocks her for being scared of Gosel in the past. Balirosa fires back, saying Uluminous lost to Fleo twice. Gosel approaches her, extending his hand for a handshake, but Balirosa refuses, saying she'll do it once she can trust him. And with that, she heads into the forest for the day's hunt. Meanwhile, we see the hero and Suya hustling away from the demon castle. The thief hero mentions that when they hit the town, they're gonna sell the jewels they snagged from the demon treasury. He says they can chill at an inn and enjoy a nice relaxing bath. Suya agrees, but reminds him they're still on the wanted list. The thief hero assures her they'll figure it out once they leave Clyrode, and Suya compliments him, saying he's really clever. Suddenly, a dark aura starts emanating from the bag the hero stole, and they keep on running. In the demon castle, Uegard straight up goes back to attacking Clyrode, but every damn time those demons try to push forward, they get slammed with resistance. Dude's all pissed and asks Pu why the hell his army can't move forward. She explains that Clyrode set up a bunch of traps along their path, making it hella hard for them to push ahead. Traps weren't an issue last time they went to war, so Uegard wonders why they're struggling now. Pufu's trying to gather the courage to tell him it's because he's stupid as hell and can't avoid the traps. But before she can even finish, Uegard cuts her off and shows off his stupidity by ordering a massive army to march right into the traps. Some of his men might bite the dust, but he's cool with that sacrifice. Purification asks him how the hell he plans to lead an army that's down to walk through a damn minefield, but he just throws that responsibility on her and straight up punches Purification in the gut. So she shuts up and bounces out of the room so he doesn't have to answer any more questions. Uagard walks past all the demon generals, and once he's gone, they start talking among themselves about how they're totally screwed. Uagard's got 2 brain cells, and one of them's on freaking vacation. No wonder their war efforts going down the drain. Exile used to make well thought out attack plans before they did anything. But now that the intel squad dipped along with Ulimina's, that ain't an option anymore. The soldiers' morale is at an all-time low with how badly things are going. So if things don't change soon, the Dark Army's gonna straight up crumble. Just then, Purification comes back into the palace, hanging from the ceiling, and declares she's got a flawless plan to boost morale. She's throwing an office pizza party, but first someone needs to help her get down. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Clyrode, Ray's and Fleo are at a sick festival, and Ray's just won first prize at a stall. She gets all hyped and hugs Fleo, telling him the prize is a voucher for a local hot spring. So she's stoked to hang out with him there, but turns out the voucher's only valid for 3 or more people, meaning they gotta bring along a friend. So Ray's ain't feeling it anymore. They keep walking through the festival, but now everyone joins them. So Ray's is bummed because she can't get any alone time with Fleo. Fleo's trying to cheer her up because the whole point of this trip was to get to know Exile and Ulimina's better. So she should just chill and have a good time with everyone else for now. They get welcomed by the hot spring hostess, and Fleo's showing mad love for the hospitality. While he's signing in, all the girls get hooked up with free yukatas. They all head to the changing rooms, but before they dip, Ray's goes up to one of the attendants and straight up asks for directions to the fertility-boosting hot spring. The attendant knows exactly what Ray's is after, so she hands her a map and wishes her good luck. Meanwhile, the other girls are making their way to the changing room, and Blossom accidentally bumps into this huge dude. She apologizes for not watching where she's going, but little does she know, it's Uagard in human form. Purification steps in and stops Uagard from losing his cool and blowing his cover. Once Blossom's out of there, Uagard asks Purification why she stopped him from taking out that girl. Purification reminds him that they're here with the demon army, disguised as humans, to boost morale. If he goes off and exposes them over nothing, all her hard work will go down the drain. Just then, the other demons show up, all stoked to kick back in the hot spring. But before they split up, Purification reminds them all to rock the necklaces she made for them at all times, because it's the only thing keeping their Melicium in check. As they pass by Ray's, Ulimina's, and Exile, the demons are wondering what the hell's going on with all the demon generals gathered here. They ain't causing trouble, so Exile starts thinking if he should have done something like this for the army, back when he was still the Dark One. Ray's tells both Exile and Ulimina's they gotta avoid the other demons at all costs, because if Uagard and Exile come face to face, shit's definitely gonna go down. And she ain't letting anything ruin her hot spring date with Fleo. They all head back to join the rest of the crew and get taken to the room where the girls are crashing. They're all feeling the traditional vibes of the place. While the girls gotta share a room, Fleo and Ray's got their own private room, and Ray's plans to put that fertility hot spring to the test tonight. As Exile walks in, Fleo mentions that he got a separate room for him because he's the only other dude here, but Exile says he wouldn't mind sharing a room with the ladies, but Ulimina's and Balirosa ain't having it. Blossom steps in and tells them to chill and just focus on having fun for the day. So everyone starts talking about what they're gonna do with their time. Ray's is getting impatient and starts pushing Fleo to hurry up so they can bounce together. Haya tries to tag along, but Ray's ain't letting nobody mess with her plans to make a baby. Haya gets it and agrees to leave them alone for the day, but since she ain't getting to stay by Fleo's side, she decides to mess with Damalina's, who's still stuck in her own little world. It's been a minute since Haya's been there, so Damalina's asks what she wants. Haya explains she needs Damalina's to help her out. Damalina's doesn't seem totally against it until Haya summons a bed in the middle of her mindscape and starts explaining her goal. After watching Fleo and Ray's getting down at night for so long, Haya wants in on the action, but she needs a partner, and that's where Damalina's comes in. Damalina's tries to argue that they can't do it because they're both women, but even spaghetti's straight till it gets wet. But before Haya can go any further, Damalina's freaks out and kicks her out of her own mindscape. So Haya's starting to realize that consent might be a big deal in all this. Meanwhile, Fleo and Ray's have arrived at the Yanagi bath for fertility. Ray's is all excited and tells Fleo that after they soak in the bath real good, they're gonna test out the effects at home. Fleo gets all flustered. but he's also looking forward to it as Reyes pulls him into the bath. On the other hand, Byrelli's doing her own thing, and that involves hitting up the local bedroom toy store for personal reasons. But as she's nervously walking up to the door, she damn near has a heart attack when Haya pops up behind her. Haya came here looking for ways to entice Damalinas into getting down, so she ain't judging Byrelli. But since they're both there anyway, Haya pushes Byrelli inside so they can test out some toys together for research purposes. While Haya and Byrelli have their fun, the others are partying it up at a bar. While they're drinking, Blossom notices that Ballyrosa's been staring at Gozel the whole damn time, so Blossom starts playing around, saying if Ballyrosa's so into Gozel, she should just go over and start chatting with him. Ballyrosa says that she's just keeping an eye on Gozel and Ulaminas because she still doesn't trust them. But then Blossom calls Gozel over, and now he's got the perfect excuse to talk to Ballyrosa. He wastes no time and starts giving her mad compliments about how fly she looks. Ulaminas is getting all annoyed because Gozel can't keep his flirting in check with Ballyrosa. But then Blossom invites Ulaminas to join them for a drink, and Gozel jumps on the offer like a happy puppy. Meanwhile, Uegard and his crew are having a blast, stuffing their faces and drinking like there's no tomorrow. They're loving every damn bite of the delicious food. Uegard calls for some entertainment, so Pewfew steps up, claiming she got a sick dance routine ready. But damn, nobody wanna see that mess. So Uegard straight up decks her off the table and finds someone else to entertain them. Two demon brothers step forward and start play fighting for Uegard's amusement. But things start getting too intense between them, and one of them ends up losing his necklace. Meanwhile, outside the hot springs, Blondie and Suya finally make it. They're relieved as hell because they think they're out of demon territory, so demons ain't gonna bother them here. Suya's complaining about being dead tired from all the running, but Blondie reassures her he's gonna take care of her, buying all the food and chilling she needs once he sells off the gem he snagged from the demons. But just when they think things are cool, shit hits the fan. The gem starts sucking up all the Melicium in the area as the two demons burst out of the wall, still going at it. Every bit of Melicium gets absorbed into the crystal, and once it's full, Blondie transforms into a monstrous beast. While all that chaos is going down, Ballyrosa and the crew are still kicking it at the bar. Ballyrosa ends up walking over to Ulaminas to have a chat. She can see Ulaminas is pissed because she wants Gozel to go back to his old gig as the Dark One. And Ulaminas ain't denying it because it's straight up true. Ain't no other demon out there with Gozel's level of power. And the man genuinely gives a damn about all his demon peeps under his command. So Ulaminas can't stand seeing him walking around in some weak human disguise, taking advantage of Fleo's generosity. Ballyrosa starts getting a better grasp on Ulaminas now. She used to think Ulaminas was acting all childish, not accepting that Gozel ain't the Dark One no more. But now she realizes Ulaminas must be head over heels in love with Gozel. This revelation hits Ulaminas like a ton of bricks. But hold up, there's an even bigger disaster going down right behind them. There's a freaking huge monster tearing the inn apart. In the midst of all that chaos, everyone in the inn is in serious danger. Thankfully, Fleo steps up and manages to keep everything from collapsing, saving everyone from harm. But since he's busy holding the place together, he can't go check out what the hell is happening, so he asks Reyes to handle it instead. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew assumes Uegard and his demon gang must be behind this craziness. But that monster needs to be stopped, so Ballyrosa, Blossom, and Bolano get ready to go into battle. But Gozel tells them to hold up because they ain't got much chance against a beast like that. Ballyrosa and the others ain't having it. They ain't just gonna leave Fleo dealing with everything on his own. They may not show it, but they were all knights once, so they know how to handle themselves in a fight. They stick by Fleo's side because they want to repay him for all the help he's given them. They can't just sit around doing nothing at a time like this. Ulaminas don't get why the girls are pulling this stunt, but Gozel finds their determination hella inspiring. So if Gozel decides to step up too, he asks Ulaminas if she's down to join him in battle once again. Ulaminas ain't too thrilled about fighting to protect humans, but since Gozel's the one asking, she agrees. Gozel teleports both of them to a nearby rooftop, and Reyes joins them with the intention of taking down whoever's messing with her quality time with Fleo. At the same time, Uegard spots Gozel and gets all pumped up, rushing out to face him and settle who's the strongest in a proper duel. Ballyrosa and the crew peep Uegard confronting Gozel, so she decides to inform Fleo, while Blossom and Bolano head out to evacuate the peeps caught up in this whole mess. On the flip side, Uigard ain't wasting no time and starts throwing his Milicium attacks, shooting mad blasts at Gozel. But damn, Gozel be blocking all of them like it's nothing. But then Uigard switches it up and unleashes the Milicium monster to do his dirty work. This beast tries to take down Uliminus, but Gozel steps in and straight up counters the attack, keeping her safe. At the same time, Balirosa finally reaches Fleo, and he asks her if everyone in the building is safe now. She assures him they're all good, but there's a freaking monster going wild near the resort. She's dead certain it's connected to how Uigard and his crew sneaked in, rocking human disguises. Balirosa thinks Gozel's behind this scheme, but Fleo knows for a fact that ain't his style. Since Gozel's holding it down, Fleo can focus on keeping the building intact and leave him to deal with Uigard and the monster. Up on the roof, Uigard straight up blasts Gozel with mad Milicium, trying to trap him with it, but Gozel ain't letting that bring him down. He's got the strength to stay in control and eventually bust out. Gozel may be the stronger one, but this fight ain't gonna be a walk in the park with Uigard's skills in controlling Milicium. Dude might even be able to control other demons' bodies, so they gotta stay on their toes. Their main goal is to rescue the poor human trapped in the magic gems. Reyes steps up and offers to handle that mess. She's dealt with Blondie enough times to know he's behind all this crap, so she teleports next to him and straight up punches him out of the gem as payback for ruining her spa day. When Blondie's out, both the magic gem and the monster straight up disintegrate, but that leaves Suya with nothing to stand on. So she starts falling to her doom. But before she goes splat, Gozel taps into his magic and saves her. He promised Fleo he wouldn't let no humans get hurt, so he's keeping his word. Gozel spots the demon generals and tells Uliminus to handle them while he takes care of Uigard. But before they throw down, Gozel asks Uigard if he's down to back off and call it quits. Uigard straight up ain't having none of that peace talk. He wants nothing but violence, so he charges at Gozel, trying to throw a punch. But damn, Gozel be slick, dodging his ass like it's nothing. Uigard ain't giving up though, and swings at Gozel again. This time, Gozel catches his punch and tells Uigard he better watch his damn actions now that he's the Dark One. That just pisses Uigard off even more, so he keeps swinging at Gozel. Meanwhile, Uliminus is dealing with those demon generals, asking them why the hell they agreed to attack a hot spring with Uigard. And those generals say they ain't looking for no damn fight. They came here just to relax, but Pew, she's all on Uigard's side, so she tries to take down Uliminus, but gets shut down real quick. After all of Uigard's attacks miss their mark, Gozel grins and pulls out some spell that copies all of Uigard's moves. And this time, they actually hit their mark. Uigard realizes that Gozel's spell reflects all his attacks, but it don't mean Gozel can't get hurt. Uigard just gotta land some clean hits on him first. As he's striking Gozel, he mocks him for being a pacifist despite having all that power. Even now, Gozel's choosing to defend instead of fight back. But Gozel's done playing nice. He grabs Uigard by the face and busts out a spell he never wanted to use again. This spell seals away all of Uigard's Milicium, leaving him weaker than your average human. Uigard never even heard of this kind of spell, so Gozel breaks it down for him. He perfected it to take down the former Dark One and claim the demon's throne. Turns out, the spell was originally developed by humans, and Gozel just finished what they started. Uigard's straight up outraged that Gozel would even think of using a human spell on him. But at that moment, the hostess and her crew whip out some special talismans. They use them to bind Uigard and capture his ass. And it ain't just Uigard. The rest of his demons get caught up too. Although Pew seems to be enjoying the ride, the hostess had some fail-safe spell on all the yukatas she gave to the guests, since Uigard's crew's been deemed a danger to everyone here. She uses the yukatas to send them flying away from this place. Uliminus is straight up shocked at how damn easy it was to get rid of those fools. But then she hears some unmistakable clapping sounds downstairs, so she peeps what's going down. And what does she find? Reyes is straight up clapping Blondie's cheeks. Suya tries to apologize for Blondie's mess-ups, saying he didn't know the damn gem would turn him into a freaking giant monster. But Reyes keeps clapping his cheeks until Balirosa shows up and tells her to bounce because Fleo's about to bust out his repair magic and fix up the resort. Once Fleo does his thing and repairs the building, the others offer to help get everything back up and running inside. Meanwhile, Blondie and Suya gotta go on the run because the resort staff is after them. Blondie thinks he's slick and pulls out his magic shovel to escape, but the idiot accidentally digs himself into a water hole, getting blasted away. Back at the resort, the hostess thanks Fleo and his crew for helping get everything back on track. She can't offer much in terms of rewards, but she tells them to have the time of their lives while they're here. Now that the annoying distractions are gone, Reyes can finally enjoy her bath. Once she gets in, she's loving every damn minute of it. Uluminas is a bit hesitant because she's scared of water, but she eventually builds up the courage and starts enjoying herself too. Byrelli and Haya are chilling in the bath too, although Haya ain't getting why hot water's so great. Blossom and Bolano are there too, and they want to know what the hell Byrelli was up to while all the chaos was going down earlier. Byrelli don't know how to answer, so Haya tells them they were getting real cozy together. Byrelli gets all embarrassed and tells Haya not to make it weird, but her reaction screams weird to the others. Fleo and Gozel are in the bath next door, and Fleo's glad to see the girls getting along. He never thought he'd be hitting it off with Gozel either. Gozel's been interested in Fleo since day one because Fleo had the balls to stay calm even in the face of his power. And with all the strength Fleo's got, he chooses not to use it for his own gain, but to try and bring peace between humans and demons. The idea he had at the time was that if he and Fleo teamed up, they might just be able to shut down the war once and for all. But Fleo thinks Gozel's giving himself too much credit. Sure, Fleo hit the jackpot in this ice guy shit and got crazy power for no reason. But there ain't no spell out there that can stop people from fighting. Shit ain't gonna change just because they rely on magic alone. So Fleo ain't sure how the hell he's gonna solve this war mess. But now he's got some real friends in this world that he can trust. He plans on leaning on them and doing whatever he can to make this world a better place. When Gozel hears this, he reaches out his hand to Fleo and offers his help with whatever plans Fleo comes up with. Fleo's all about it and gladly accepts. A little while later, everyone gathers inside and gets treated to a fancy-ass meal by the hostess and her crew. One of them even hooks Reyes up with a special eel pie, known to give you a burst of energy for hours. Reyes shows her gratitude, and while everyone's chowing down, Balirosa steps up to Gozel. Gozel's all surprised because Balirosa ain't never approached him on her own before. He asks her what she wants, and she says she's here to thank him for what he did in the battle earlier. Reyes told her how he made sure to protect humans throughout the whole thing. Gozel brushes it off, saying it ain't a big deal because he can't break the promise he made to her. But Uluminas gets all jealous because Gozel's getting close to Balirosa. Everyone's having a blast at dinner, and when it's time to hit the bed, Reyes comes in to check on them all. She makes sure they're all knocked out, and then she goes over to Fleo, who's sitting there staring at the sky. Now that it's just the two of them, Fleo asks Reyes what she thinks of humans in general. She admits she ain't really put much thought into it, but on the surface, humans seem weaker than her own race. But after spending all this time with humans, she realizes that superiority ain't just about military shit. She remembers how Balirosa served her a taste of defeat in a baking contest they had a while ago. So while she can't exactly say she loves the human race, she don't see them as enemies no more. But forgetting about her emotions for a second, she straight up asks Fleo why he's dropping this question out of nowhere. He tells her he just wanted to know where she stood. The war between humans and demons is about to get uglier, and if shit goes down, Fleo plans to protect the town and make sure nobody gets hurt. He wants Reyes by his side the whole damn time, making sure he doesn't cross any lines. He's confident that as long as she's with him, he can make it through without messing up. Reyes assures him that she'll always be right there with him, no matter where they go, especially because they gotta make sure the world's safe for their future kids. From there, they handle their business, and by the next morning, Reyes is in a damn good mood. The others catch on to what went down, and Haya's pissed because she missed the show because she was knocked out. When they reach the resort's gate, Fleo raises his hand and declares it's time to head home as he casts a teleportation spell. Back at home, everyone settles back into their regular routines. Blossom's back in the field working with Saib, and Bolano just introduced herself to her class. She tells them how she used to suck at magic, but thanks to her teacher, she's gotten pretty damn decent at it. Now she's gonna bust her ass to pass on everything she learned from Fleo. Haya's hustling with her magical garden, and Blossom's impressed as hell with the results, so they'll have a ton of veggies to sell in town later. Gozel's been mad busy learning how to whip up weapons with Fleo, but Uluminas ain't getting the point, because it ain't like Gozel trying to open a weapon shop or something, but Gozel actually considering doing just that. So Ulumina's starting to try and talk him out of it. Right then, Balirosa rolls up and gives props to Gozel for hooking her up with that sick armor. It was straight fire and perfect for her. But Ulumina's still feeling some type of way because Balirosa is all cool with Gozel. so she starts growling at her. Balirosa tries to change the subject and brings up how the princess getting crowned today. She hoping the demon fools don't start up their attack and ruin the whole thing. And Gozel tells her not to trip about that because he sealed Uagard's Milicium, so he can't lead no attack anytime soon. Meanwhile, over at the capital, Princess Elizabeth getting greeted by her peeps because she just became the queen. But when she heads back into the castle, turns out she can't find her pops. She thinking he must have dipped once he realized all the messed up stuff he been doing about to come out. Even though he her old man, Elizabeth still gotta make sure he pays for all the wrongs he did. She ain't wasting the opportunity Fleo gave her. She's swearing to shake up the whole kingdom, no matter what it takes. In other news, Blondie and Suya on the run again, hiding out in a hole, but that ain't even surprising. As night rolls in, everybody at Fleo's house getting called in for dinner, and Fleo taking a trip down memory lane, thinking about how he came to this world all alone. But now he has good friends by his side and a wifey who holding him down, so he couldn't ask for a happier life.